that exciting? Exciting. Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's happening? This is...
I should have had my dollar bills out.
You should have. You should have had those dollar...
your way.
Yes, and like sticking them in my... No, let's not go there. It's episode 102 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. The date today is Monday, March the 1st, the first day of March, 7:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm David McRae, the VoiceMann Studios, Tony Geddes, and Tony Michael, Atlanta, Georgia. Today we're watching Friday the 13th, Part 3. We are live! I always got to make sure I get all that in before this part of the song, and I was lazy today. Friday the 13th, Part 3. 1982's Friday the 13th, Part 3. The introduction of the Jason mask. Yes, the Jason mask. Very excited for this. You and I, Tony Michael, have watched pretty much every Friday the 13th movie.
Well, except for 3, 4, 8.
Wait,
nine,
we haven't watched
10.
4?
No.
We haven't watched 4. We got to watch 4. What the fuck is wrong with us? So we've watched 1.
9,
we've watched
10.
2. We've watched 5.
Yep.
We've watched 6.
Oh yeah.
We've watched.
What's wrong? I'm having issues tonight, Dave.
Did we watch? Did we watch 7?
I'm about to get angry. With
I think
my
we did
equipment
watch 7.
here.
We did watch The New Blood, didn't we?
We watched 7. We watched 1, 2, 5, 7, 6.
7 and 6, yeah. So this is 3. We got to watch 4. We haven't watched 4. I thought we. Yeah,
we were.
Cody says we did 4.
You might have done 4 on a Saturday night thing yourself, but I don't remember doing 4 with you.
I don't know. Let me look this
Maybe
up
we
here.
did.
I thought we did. I could have sworn we did. I think we did. Two Dudes, Friday 4. Let's see. We Friday the 13th, the final chapter. We did it 5 months ago.
We did. Oh, Jesus! I don't even remember that show.
Yeah, 5 months ago. We did it 5 months ago. Huh? That wasn't that long ago. We did it. It says September 7th is when we did.
I know we didn't do Manhattan yet.
No.
We didn't do Jason Goes to Hell, and we didn't do Jason 10.
Right.
So we've got the bottom of the barrel left after tonight.
We do. The bottom of the barrel after tonight.
Although, to be honest, this is going to be the 4th time that I've ever watched this movie. I don't watch this Friday that much.
Wait a minute. You mean this is only the 4th time in your life? You actually know that it's only the 4th time?
I've only seen this movie like 3 times.
Really?
I haven't watched this one that much. Yeah. It's just one of those ones that, even though it introduces the iconic hockey mask, and I've said a million times, it is without a doubt one of the most iconic symbols in movie history, because you don't even have to be a horror fan.
It's true.
You know, you can make it even comedy, like Chevy Chase did in Christmas Vacation, coming out with the chainsaw and hockey mask. Everyone's going to look at it and go Jason, and you don't even have to be a fucking horror fan and know what the gag is.
In the 80s, if you wore a Michael Myers mask, people thought you were Jason.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I got that so many times in school. Hey, look, there's Jason walking down the hallway wearing a Michael Myers
we all
mask.
did.
It's so annoying.
We all got it.
But, you know, it's just one of those Friday films that, like, I don't know. I mean, it's all right. It's not bad. We were talking about it off screen. You know, it's the introduction of freaking Jason Bane, man, with those traps that he freaking juices up on steroids.
Yeah, he's got traps that would make Goldberg jealous in this. In this movie,
man.
Goldberg has got nothing on Richard Brooker Jason. I think that's
as far as traps goes.
Traps. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Hey, Friday the 13th, 3 Jason versus Goldberg in the ring. I think that might be.
Goldberg, dude. My
of
brother
course
met
he is.
Goldberg.
Of course
Goldberg
he is.
A big dude.
He
My
is
brother
a big
met him
dude.
in an elevator at Foxwoods Casino.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was
when
a
we
big
were up
dude.
there one night up in Connecticut. For those who don't know, it's one of the biggest casinos in the world. And Goldberg just got on the elevator. And I'm like, motherfucker, you met Goldberg, you douche.
Yeah.
But he was telling me, he's like, dude, you don't understand. Like on TV, it's so deceiving when you see him like this.
Right.
He's a monster.
He's a monster. Yeah, I bet. Well, I mean, a lot of those guys are, which makes you realize not that Goldberg isn't big. He is. He's huge, and he looks huge even on TV. But when he gets into the ring,
what's that? Sorry. I wish I could be that size, like Goldberg size.
Every man wants to be that size.
Turn my mic
size
up?
of the body, I mean. Your mic is a bit low? I don't think. Is Tony mic a bit low? Let's see here. Let's see if we can get...
Check!
Let's see if we can get... Here, let's try this. I'm gonna pump you up
Sorry, not
here.
to be a douchebag.
How's that? Is that a bit better? That's as high
Is
as
that better? Is that the better?
I think that's a bit better. But I'm just gonna say, it makes you realize he's huge, but then you look at everybody else in the ring with him. I mean, he's, they're all monsters. You know what I mean? Okay, so Friday the 13th, Part 3. That's what we're watching tonight. This is...
I know this is one of your favorites.
Well, my favorite Friday the 13th are essentially the first 4. I really consider that the series. And if I was going to watch a Friday the 13th movie, I would generally put in the first 4. One of the first 4. Like, I tend to watch that as a series. It doesn't mean that I won't watch 5 or 6, but anything beyond 6, I never watch 7. I never watch 8. I never watch 9. I don't watch 10. I think I've seen the final Friday like maybe once and a half or so. Like, seriously. And people are like, you've only seen Jason Goes to Hell once? Well, why would I want to continue to watch a dog shit pile of scuzz-sucking pile of crap? Well, that's my point. People are...
The second time is going to be here with you when we get to that.
Exactly. I remember, like, it was, what was it, about a year or so ago, I was doing a Halloween, or maybe it was when we were doing Halloween 5. I can't remember, but anyway, it was in and around that time, and I had said something like, I haven't seen this in, a couple years, something. And so I was like, you haven't seen it in a couple years, how come? And I'm thinking, because I don't watch dog shit movies, that's why. I mean, listen, if you want to watch dog shit movies, it's fine, but if I watch a movie that I think is garbage, generally I don't like to go and, if I get served a shit pizza, I don't generally like to go back to the restaurant that served me a shit pizza and order another shit pizza. This is not how it goes. So no, I haven't seen the final Friday in probably 25 years. And
it's crazy because I thought we never did that. And I was actually, because I haven't seen that. Well, I guess now I've saw it 5 months ago, but my mind still doesn't think I watched it with you, but I guess I did.
We did. We watched part 4.
I don't remember watching it.
And I think...
But I do watch that one probably a little bit more. I would say of the franchise, though, I've mentioned that many times. The ones that I watch the most are 1 and 2. Primarily, it's just those 2. And if I'm feeling, 80s MTV, I go to 6. You know what I mean? And watch that. Of course, I mean, I love my Roy Burns, though. I mean, I love Part 5 for the humor of it and the kills. It's got some of the best kills in the franchise. But yeah, 3 and 4 and everything from 7 past now, but 3 and 4, it's like, it's 4 for sure. 3, no, it's not like I don't like the film. It's like,
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it. And 3 is that movie where they shot in California and they built like this homemade swamp that looks like it's a swamp. It doesn't even look like a lake. I mean, they because the first 2 Friday films were shot out this way, out east, which made sense because it's supposed to be in New Jersey, right? I mean, it's supposed to be, that's where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in the, the East, the Midwest. And then when you look at
what they were trying to do, and I don't know if you guys call this the same thing in Toronto, like we did in the Northeast and New England, because it's a very popular term. I think what they were trying to do is and I don't mean pond in the sense of what people are thinking pond, but like the pond part of a lake or the pond part of an ocean. For example, when the girl in Jaws says the shark, it's in the pond. Right. That's a very New England, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts thing to say, that when the ocean branches off into these little cul-de-sac areas, we call them the pond, and not a pond like what most probably people are thinking. Right. So, and lakes have that as well too. And it's the same thing. If we're at a big lake in Connecticut or a lake in Maine or in Vermont, we'll say we're going over to the pond side. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
totally.
The pond side is like the little area. So I think that's what they were trying to do, but it doesn't very well.
But when you go out to California, if anybody's ever been to California, if you live in California, it's very now it's not desert like Arizona or Nevada, but it's California, for all intents and purposes, is a desert state.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes. And so, when you are in California and you're shooting in California, you have to be very careful because you have to consciously look for, areas and sections and places and towns and tree lines and certain trees and things that gives a very specific vibe of out east, out in the Midwest or the Northeast, because you don't, it doesn't look like New Jersey at all. I mean, everything's brown. Everything looks so brown, everything in Friday the 13th Part 3. So there was a switch there. But 3 is, the first 3 films or the first 4 films are my favorite. 3 is great because obviously it's where he gets the iconic mask, but I don't think it's necessarily a great movie. I do think 4 is probably a better slasher movie overall.
Yeah, it's one, because like I said, it's one that I'll watch that. I'll go, like, if I'm in a mood, I'll go 1, 2, skip 3, 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And 2, this was during the early 80s 3D craze, of course. So there's a lot of the shots in here are you can tell are done for the 3D experience. And it doesn't hold up, obviously, because without it being in 3D, it makes no sense of why you would shoot it that way.
Don't you, right? Don't you see the wire at sometimes, like some shots?
It depends what you're watching it on. On the Blu-rays, yes, because they strip, it's not shot in HD, so it's converted into quote unquote HD, but they have to like strip everything away so you can see a lot of, how the effects are done, and a lot of older films like that. But I've always liked this movie. I think it's
I just don't understand why Jason felt he needed to change his clothes.
Yeah, well,
Still trying to figure that part out.
And grow 10 inches.
Grow 10 inches, shave the beard, shave off the hair.
That's it, shave off the hair.
Like, he's like,
but I think he got his traps by doing deadlifts with massive tree trunks. I think that's how. And
steroids.
That's right.
Well,
that's right.
it was the 80s. He was hulking with Hulk Hogan.
That's it.
Hulking with Hulk Hogan.
That's exactly it. So let's start this movie. Let's do this. Let's start this movie up. Friday the 13th Part 3. Tony and I are paused on the old school Paramount logo, a Gulf Western company. That's where we are paused if you guys want to watch along with us. Here we go.
This will be a treat. It's been a while since I've seen this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah, like another example of like if people were to, for those of you who are watching tonight and you've been to the filming location for Part 6, where the lake is on the campgrounds, that would be also, we would call that a pond as well too, because it's not part of the main lake. And then that's why they probably shot the movie at night, because if you were to actually see the dock across from where that location is, it's like, hey, there's Jenny.
There's your girlfriend.
Jenny. Good old Amy Steele. It's like literally like I could play catch with Dave. That's how short the distance is from one side to the other.
Yep.
And it ends in a small cul-de-sac as well too, or a pond like.
Yep.
And that's what we would call that. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But this is the last time Tony will ever get to see his sack. That's what she said.
Sackhead Jason here. Film's just started. We're watching the end of Friday the 13th Part 2, of course, because it's recapping everything going on.
A tree stump like that.
Great.
I'm doing one. It's in my garage right now.
I love it.
Yeah, because I want to do a similar setup like this in the thing that we made.
Yes. Yeah, this is.
We made a similar Jason like abandoned type house setup. It's really an old trailer that we just slapped together and I shared it on Instagram. I don't know. I think the sack is so much creepier. I wish they would have stayed with it. I get why they did it. I know why they did it. Can't say the word
sack without thinking of a sack. Anyway, go
on. It pays off because, like I said a few moments ago, the hockey mask is without a doubt one of the most iconic symbols in horror and 100%. In movie history. But God, there's just something creepy about a dude wearing a sack and with one eye hole. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you, bro? Why the one eye?
The chat room right now is just laughing hysterically. One eye, sack. I get it. But you're right, though, Tony. You are right. I mean, if we can talk about it, as adults here and not be 5-year-olds in kindergarten, you are correct. The sackhead Jason is a cool look. But I think it's also
creepy, kind of hick,
it's creepy,
which fits.
But let's be honest, it probably is creepy because it was never saturated. It was never used beyond this movie. It was it never overstayed its welcome. So one of the reasons why this stands out is, and if the roles were reversed, if in this movie he had a hockey mask on, and in the rest of the films after that he had Sackhead, and Sackhead became,
people be like, what the fuck?
Exactly. Yeah. And Sackhead became the iconic look and the icon. Oh my God, it's Sackhead Jason, and it became everything that the hockey mask is. People would be saying the same thing about the hockey mask. They'd be going, fuck, you never see hockey mask Jason. That'd be so cool to have hockey mask Jason. Why aren't there any fan films that use the hockey mask? Oh, that'd be so awesome. It'd be the same thing. It'd be the same thing. It's all relative at the end of the day, right? A lot of those things and a lot of experiences and how we see things and how we experience things is very relative. And I mean, you know, it's not that black and white, but you know, it is for the most. It is for the most part. So
well, and that's why I've made my argument that if you were going to explore Friday, that there's Paul. Oh,
Paul, I give you all, but no pitchfork.
See, that's what happened to Paul, folks. After Annie dies, Paul left, went to become a camp counselor.
Yep.
And now he's dealing with this fucker.
That's it. So you know that's what happened. I mean, he was
Now he's wrestling with Jason. Paul's putting up a good fight.
He's putting up a good fight. I don't think it was necessary to show this much of a recap.
We can definitely watch this again anytime you want, bro. Just so you know.
I feel like I'm actually watching Friday the 13th. I don't think it was necessary to have this much of the recap, though. I think you could have recapped with a bit less. Like, you could have just started here. And people would have been like, "Oh yeah."
I hear it. It's definitely a long recap.
Because the reason for that is that because this movie only came out a year after the after the second one, so it's not like hey, it's been 20 years. We gotta bring people up to speed.
We gotta bring up the speed, yeah, right. No. But what I was saying is that where do you when you talk about bringing the franchise back, where do you go? What can you do? I don't deny the fact that the hockey mask is what people want to see and with Jason and horror fans, but you've done it to death. Literally, you've literally jumped the shark so much that you've sent his ass to outer space. Okay, I mean, there's nothing left that you can do with this character. That's why I've always said you could go back to the sack because you've never gone past this movie. And you can even you can have a cool payoff where you see Jason put the hockey mask on, at some point as like a final payoff in a 2 or 3 part run. With him continuing to wear the sack, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that you don't have to totally eliminate it, but I mean, what do you do with this franchise that hasn't been done with the hockey mask? So if you're trying to do something fresh and relevant and new and different, I blew that out there for a second.
Yeah, no, it's
the sack is a way to go as a possibility.
Yeah. Now that shot right there of Jason dropping the machete, I don't think we ever saw that at the end of part 2. Did we see that?
No,
Did we see this?
We see it in this. We don't see it at the end.
Okay, so that was either shot by Miner or a deleted scene that was never used.
No, I think that this was in this film because if you look very closely, the body shape of him versus Gillette, it's a huge difference. Yeah. And I think it's because if whoever is, I don't know if it's Gillette or Dash who's at the end of laying on the ground there. I believe it would be Dash up until Gillette goes through the window. I'm kind of guessing how that worked. So if that's Dash, technically at the end when he gets the machete in the shoulder, he's a bit smaller than your boy here who plays him in part. I forget
Richard Brooker.
I want to call him Booker T.
Booker T, Mr. T,
Spinneroonie.
Pit of the Fool. Yeah. He's. I love these.
He's a bit bigger.
He's a bit bigger
than Dash, and you can tell with him laying on the ground. The flannel was riding just a little bit short. Yeah.
Richard Brooker's dead now. Ted White is still alive from part 4. He's like 90 something.
Yeah, Dash is dead. I know that.
Yeah, he died.
Gillette's still alive though, right?
I don't know. Steve Dash wasn't that old when he died. I mean, he wasn't.
No, he was young.
He was he was like 60 maybe something.
Yeah, that's young.
Oh yeah. Some of my parents died. 69, 67. Edited by George Hively. Art director Rob Wilson King. Well, I wonder what happened to Rob Wilson King. Love these 3D credits, though. This is great. Tony Bishop is co-producer. Love this music.
It sounds like a hybrid of like 80s synth and 80s porn merged into like, you know.
But this is when you knew that like the creative decision to do this it's not just because it's the 80s.
Didn't he direct part 2 as well too, Steve Miner?
He did, yes. He did 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But this is all because of, you know, and the barn or the cabin in this movie was built for the movie. It wasn't a real, like, it was all built for the movie, I'm pretty sure. A lot of the stuff was. Here we are in California.
Yeah, we're gonna get the last glimpse of.
But you're right,
Jason before he does a costume change.
Yeah,
unnecessary costume change.
Actually, he's wearing the costume here.
He's still wearing the overalls. And
I don't think he is.
You'll see it's a tiny blip.
I know it's when he's behind the curtains. I've always thought, I didn't think he was wearing the overalls behind the curtains.
No, for the very first time you see him. Oh yeah, here's the.
I don't know. For somebody who hasn't seen the movie only 4 times, I don't know, Tony. I think you may be wrong. I'm going to challenge you on this. I'm going to challenge Tony on this. Me. We're challenging each other.
Very close attention.
All right. I'm going to pay very close attention.
That's right. The TV scene here, and don't they show her being loaded onto the?
They do. Yeah.
Genie. They show Genie. Right.
Yes, I think they do. They do.
And they use it like as a news clip or something.
Oh no, that's at that. Oh.
Or is that part 4?
That's part 4 when in the barn. Yeah, they show the barn with the helicopter and shit. And...
Right. Oh no, there she is.
Oh,
that's the end of part 2.
That is the end of part 2.
Using as a
yeah.
Paul?
Yeah.
Paul?
It's the actual ending of part 2 that they're using as news footage. It's great. It's like she's watching Friday the 13th part 2 on the television.
See, now watch closely.
Yeah, I'm going to watch.
Yeah, he's wearing it. He's wearing it.
Let me see. Oh, you are correct. Tony Michael is correct,
now,
ladies and gentlemen.
Give me my $1,000 in Monopoly.
The check is in the mail. You are correct. He was wearing.
And that's it.
Yeah, you are correct. Yeah, I never paid that close attention. I think it's the body shape that maybe threw me off a little bit.
And now he's changed. But in a blink of an eye.
So he obviously, and so we're led to believe then that he used the clothes that were obviously hanging on the line here, and he changed. So Jason was buck naked out in this yard right here. He was buck fucking naked. His penis flapping in the wind like the sheets. He's buck naked. He's buck fucking naked, just standing there trying stuff on. He just so happens to be the exact size for this new outfit, even though the man that lives with this woman here is a lot smaller. Maybe it was her ex-husband's clothing that she was washing and drying that was hanging on the thing there. I got to admit though, I do like. I like his body. I mean, I like the size of him and sort of the way he comes into frame a little bit. And he's, it's very, I don't want to say Michael Myers-ish, but it's because he's bigger than Myers, but it's intimidating. It's a weird look to this guy. I like the feel to it, but this guy is, but you're right. He actually did have, those, I don't understand why you didn't just go with it then.
That's what I don't understand. Like it would, you know what I mean? It would have been very interesting to see the coveralls with the flannel with the hockey mask.
It could also be
still going.
It could also be creatively they want each movie to be distinct and.
Well, because from this point on, he doesn't change his outfit. He stays in this pretty much for the rest of the franchise, right?
No, he's got some variation. Yeah, it's similar. It's similar.
At least for 6 anyways. He's got the green top with the khaki pants or khaki pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, this dude just randomly just eats his groceries that he's going to sell to people.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He does this. He's a very sexy man. Look at that mustache. I love this stash right now. It's great stuff. Imagine just doing that. If I owned a store like that, I think I'd do that too. Just walk around eating all the shit. What is he, like diabetic? The fuck's he doing? Eating all this stuff and
He really is.
Like,
though.
I mean, what the why
hell?
would you do that?
That's just
What
like,
the hell does this lady see in this guy? Yeah.
That's what it's like in those little mom and
That's
pop
what it
shops.
is. That's what it is.
I think I told you, or I don't know if I've showed you yet, but there's a little mom and pop, similar type style gas station really close to the campgrounds. And the woman who owns it told me I can use it for a couple scenes that I want to do for my fan film, and I don't have to pay a dime, which is really cool for a filming location. It's just a very
amazing.
quick little establishing shot of the area and whatnot.
Right.
And people will appreciate it when they see it, because it's very much like this, and has that old, Crystal Lake vibe feel inside the store as well too.
Amazing.
That you saw like in this film and also in like the second film when the kids are in the small little area, or like when Annie, I think that was her name, goes into the little shop, the little diner place in the first film.
Yeah. That's great.
Same type aesthetic look. Like I walked in there and I was like, I told the woman, I said, look, this is the plan. Once COVID is, whatever, and we're allowed to do this. And I said, I really would love to use your establishment for the, and I explained to her the shots and the sequence. She's like, oh yeah, you can totally, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I have to get the permits to pay. She's like, oh no, just come and do it. And
that's
we'll
great.
work with you. And I'm like, okay, cool.
That's amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love when people are like that.
Small town folks, man.
Small
They're just
town
friendly.
folks, yeah.
They are friendly as hell.
I'm going to grow my hair out like this, shape my forehead so I'm bald like that, and grow a stash and just call myself Mr.
Dude, we were on a
Shitter.
shoot a while back and we were doing Leatherface, and we're right next to these family who are like barbecuing and all this stuff like that. And they see what we're doing and they're loving it and shit. And like, they're like, y'all want to come over and have something to eat? I'm like, what the hell?
It's amazing. That's awesome, dude. I mean, listen, if you can do it and take advantage of it, that's what you got to do. That's fucking amazing.
You definitely, when the further out in the South that you go and you're in the country, the more you see a lot of that Southern hospitality.
Right. Do. Philip Rouse says, my cousin used to think she said, that's all that crack you've been stuffing yourself with. That's funny. And folks, for those of you, of course, that send in super chats, we will get to them at the end of the movie. Do not forget that you can do that. I just want to let you know we haven't forgotten about you or missed it. Just watching the movie here. Watching the 1982 classic, one of the greatest cinematic masterpieces in the history of celluloid, ladies and gentlemen. Oh,
Jason
yes!
got that meat cleaver.
Yes, and you can't tell he's got something underneath there that's sprouting the blood. No, you can't at all, but fuck, it looks great.
Boy, he uses the meat cleaver on him. He used the meat cleaver on
Crispin Glover.
Crispin.
Yeah. Well,
Now,
obviously, this husband is a dead fuck. He's obviously a dead fuck. I mean, I think
I did use the meat cleaver once in one of my photos.
You might have. And I think maybe he only uses the meat cleaver on dead fucks. Maybe this guy here was the first dead fuck. Maybe he was the first one. That's what I'm going to go with. I think he was the first one.
Although I will say he was very robotic in that chop. He's got to loosen up.
He was. And did you notice the padding underneath the guy's chest and under the shirt and whatnot? All this, like the stuffing a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah, it's all right. It's good stuff. This woman's probably 15 years younger than you and I here. Seems younger. Oh, it's a rat. Yeah, look at the little rat. No, it's cute. Yes.
What was that? Oh! What did he use there?
A knitting needle, maybe? I don't know. Maybe it's
okay.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we got to have the bat pointing to the camera.
Yeah, that's right. There it is. See, like shots like that make no sense when you're not watching it in 3D.
She's in this.
Right?
She's the final girl in this, right?
Yes. She is the final girl.
What's her name? Christine?
Chris. Well,
Kristen?
they call her Chris for short, yeah.
Chris? Okay.
Yeah. I always liked her.
So now, okay, help me out here because this is not
I like her better than the final girl in 4.
And I don't want to turn this into a thing like it did the last time. But
here we go. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why I'm asking you specifically, Dave.
Buckle up.
I'm going to avoid the chat room on this one.
Here comes Shelly.
Is this the day
Shelley's
after
a lawyer
the
now.
events of part 2, or is this, or has time elapsed?
I don't know. Ask the Friday the 13th fanatics in the chat room.
No.
Chat
I've never figured out if this is just continuing on the same weekend. Like I know
this is a prequel set in the 50s.
Story arc. She's been up there before.
Yeah, something like
I know
that.
she does a recap later on in the film. But I never knew, like, is that palm trees? That is palm trees. What the fuck? But I never understood if this was continuing from, you know.
Yeah, it's well, yeah, it's shot in California. I don't know. You know, you ask people in the chat, and
I mean, obviously the opening there, like with the couple that own that shop, that's continuing from shortly after the events of part 2.
Yeah, but you mean
they're
like
watching
now.
the news,
Right?
They're watching the news and the stuff's
Well, it's
being
hilarious.
recorded.
I mean, you know, Aaron Click says it's the day after, I think. I mean, it could be the kind of thing where it's like the first 4 Friday the 13th movies happen in 1 week.
So today's technically Friday the 14th, Saturday the 14th.
I don't know. I have no idea, but that's a good point. It's kind of like how I find, and listen, I like the John Wick films. I do. I like them less and less as they go on. Like, I like the first one the best, maybe the second one the next, and then the third.
I've only seen the first.
Yeah, the first one was the best, but they all happen. When you watch the John Wick films, they all happen, like all 3 movies happen within inside of, like, I don't know, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. It's a very short period of time. And I laugh at myself when I watched, when I got to the end of the 3rd movie, because I thought, Jesus, can you imagine going through every single thing that John Wick went through, every single fight, every single punch he threw, every single punch he took, every single kick he gave, every single kick he took, every car crash, every horse riding with fucking swords, every whatever, all happens. Everything, every single thing happens in like 10 days.
Jesus, that girl's not, I'm listening to you, but I'm also focused on the girl sitting in the middle driving. She looks like Carrie Fisher. This chick that just turned her head around.
Oh, a little bit.
Got a bit of a little Carrie Fisher
vibe.
Oh yeah, now we got to get the joint in 3D too.
Yeah, got to get the joint in 3D for all those teenagers watching this in 1982. Yeah, I look, the Friday the 13th. You need Vincent DeSanti in here. The Friday the 13th.
Yeah, he's like Friday the 13th God.
Timeline is, I don't know. I mean, it's who knows. It's whatever it is. I don't know. Yeah, Chris, I think, is probably my. I like. Yeah, Chris probably. Although I will say this. I'll say this. I think Jenny. No, what's her name again from part 2? Jenny. I want
to watch Forrest Gump.
I like her as a. I think she's a strong character, and I like her. I think,
and they missed the boat by not doing more with her.
Correct.
Although I heard they offered to her,
correct,
but she turned it down, and then later she regretted it. She really could have been the Laurie Strode of this franchise.
She could have been.
You know what I mean?
She could have
really
been.
Could have.
Yeah, and I liked her as a character. I think Chris in this movie, I think she's probably. I think of 4. Not that anybody's unattractive. There's nobody in this series that's unattractive. That's not how they cast. But
so this would be the next day because they're pulling the bodies out of the store. So yeah, you guys are right.
It's the next day.
Yeah, no, they're right.
So technically this is the 14th. Well, that's lame.
I mean, look. I mean, in theory, if you got a killer out, I mean, is he just going to wait till one day to kill people? No, of course not.
No. I mean, well, unless he's Michael Myers, he only shows up on Halloween. People in the chat room right now.
Dave's gonna get it.
Are you making fun of Michael?
Yes, I was gonna say Dave's gonna trigger some people.
Yes, I am. I am making fun of Michael Myers because I can do that because I can do that and still love the character.
Michael's gangster like that, though. He's Godfather like that. He's like, look, bitch, I don't need to kill every day. I can kill once a year and make my impact.
But I think Chris. I think out of all the girls, like if we're just going on well, see, even she, like they're all attractive. They're all attractive girls. I mean, that's how you cast, right? It's not like I mean, come on, they're all attractive.
Yeah, Jeannie would be my fave. I've said that. Then Jeannie. Second after that would be Part 6, Megan.
Yeah, Megan.
Love Megan. Yeah.
I bet you do. Well, you like your blondes, so.
Do. Megan got that nice little rump.
Here comes
If I had to rank the Friday final girls' butts, she probably would be number one.
Maybe that should be a video ranking the Friday rumps.
Ranking the final girl butts.
No, it's called ranking the Friday rumps.
Ranking the Friday rumps, and then you play. You know what you need
ranking
to do is
then
you intro it with "Shake Your Rump" from the '90s.
There you
Remember
go.
That song?
There you go. They're all attractive. I'm more partial to brunettes, obviously, so I tend to. But it's not like they're all whether you blonde, brunette, redhead,
I would
whatever,
probably
put
her as a strong third. I mean, again, I haven't watched this movie enough to make that like as a fair.
Well, neither of them are. I think.
But I don't really care for anyone after Megan.
I think what it is for me is that with Ginny, I don't think Ginny is necessarily the quintessential final girl. That's the thing. She's great, and
she fights the villain.
No, she does. But what I mean by that is that like the archetype of a final girl is usually a girl who is somebody who has a lot of strength that is untapped potential. She doesn't know. She's usually shyer. She's a bit of a not
reclusive.
part of the group. Yeah, not like a complete.
So
recluse.
it's like basically like Lori and Nancy.
Nancy, Sydney, and this is not just, but these are what is traditionally the archetype of a final girl. And then through the process of the journey that she goes through, whether that's in the first Scream or Halloween or Elm Street, she discovers a strength that was always in her, and she becomes. It's through that journey, the final girl archetype, she becomes the woman, because she's forced to fight back. When her friends die, she has to fight back. She fights back. She wins, and you get that beautifully in a very archetypal way with Nancy, Sydney, Lori. And Ginny was strong from the get-go, I think. So I think she's a great final girl, but I don't necessarily think she's the archetype of a final girl. Not that you have to be. I mean, you can go out of the norm. It's not like she's bad or anything. I'm just saying that I think she already had a fire in her anyway. I don't think she necessarily had to discover that fire in her. But that's not a bad thing. That doesn't make her a bad final girl. That just makes her. Well,
Megan was like that too in part 6.
Correct.
I think that's why she had a very similar story or similar character personality as to Ginny.
Correct, and that can be
she had a little sass to her. She was already strong. You know what I mean?
Right. And when we're judging it totally like as heterosexual men judging that personality trait on a woman, it can be one of two ways. It can be incredibly intimidating to some men. It can be incredibly attractive to some men, right? The confidence, the being sure of themselves, a little bit of a fire in them. That can be a very attractive quality. So there's certainly both Megan and Ginny have that going for them for sure. But I think what's her face from the first movie, I think is more of the archetype of the final.
She's one of my least favorites. You're talking about Alice?
Talking about
it's
Alice.
nothing against the actress.
No, not at all.
What's her name?
We're not talking about how attractive we are, how attracted we are to the people. We're not talking about how attractive they are or not attractive they are. Well, I prefer that person over this person because I find that person better looking. That's irrelevant when you're talking about the archetype of a final girl.
Yeah.
And do final girls tend to be, on the cuter side or attractive? Sure, yeah, they can be, but it's just it's traits, it's certain things that you find in their journey as a character traditionally. But that doesn't mean that you can't step out of the norm either. It doesn't mean that Ginny's not a final girl. She is.
And then they went all fucking crazy in part 7 with what's her name there, the fucking Carrie chick.
Oh yeah,
that fucking telepathic shit and telekinetic, whatever. Yeah, like
your number one final girl though is Sydney, isn't it? From Scream, right?
Oh, if I were ranking them like all together, yeah, it goes. My top 5 are Nev Campbell, Sydney, Amy Steele, Jeannie, Ellie, Rachel from Halloween 4. Then Nancy.
My number one final girl is Tina from Halloween 5.
Yeah.
I couldn't even keep a straight face on that
one. I know
one.
you couldn't. Number 5 would be Aaron, Jessica Biel from Texas Chainsaw. And then honorary mention number 6 would be Scout, Lori from Halloween.
I'm
Rob
telling
Zombie.
you right now, there's something there that a lot of people forget that what's-her-face could be a final girl. That's right. Who? Jessica Biel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, and when I first saw the remake of Chainsaw, I was like, dude, yeah, loved her. She was great.
Yep. Here is Tony Michael here with his shirt off.
Pulling up this beautiful brunette.
Yeah, there she is.
Flexing the guns.
Yeah, you're flexing those bazookas. You just dropped her because you don't care anymore because with the wrong girl that came up.
Exactly.
Oh, you're not Ginny.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, wait, you're not Ginny. Get the hell out of here.
So now she's running back to me. See, But see, I'm not there. I'm gone. So,
Where would we rank Jennifer Love Hewitt, Richard? I mean, she was good in the movie, but like, I don't know. I know that's Dave's girl, man. That's his party of 5.
But I'm bum-ching. Do I even have that ready to go? I don't.
That's a Nev Campbell, Jennifer Love Hewitt thing.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
If you don't know that they were both on the show.
Yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt, final girl. Yeah, she does. She fits the bill of a stereotypical final girl. I mean, sweet. She's a little shy. Has a fight in her that she has to discover through that journey, through that process, and she comes out a stronger person in the end. So if final girls tend to, of course, in the Friday films, they don't. It's a different girl each film. And of course, in part 2 for Elm Street, there was no Nancy. But when you look at the character of Nancy in part 3, she's a much stronger, more sure of herself person than she was in the first movie. So if final girls ever do come back for sequels, they should be probably where, like, they're much more... They're stronger. They're more sure of themselves if they, in the sequel, because of what they've gone through, and that's an arc. I mean, that's progression. But Jennifer Love Hewitt, I don't know.
That's your girl, man. That's your girl.
I wouldn't necessarily rank her. I don't think of her that often.
I wouldn't put her in the top 10. I would put her in the top 20 maybe, but I wouldn't put her in the top 10.
I don't traditionally think of her when I think of the final girl archetype, which is kind of strange. You'd think I would, but I don't. And it's not that she wasn't. She was in that movie. She was, and she was in its sequel too. So that's kind of strange. I'll have to think about it for a moment. Why I don't think of that. There is a reason for sure. Come on, Shelley. Isn't Shelley a lawyer now? I think he's a lawyer now.
I think he is. I think you are right about that. Melissa, who was Sheriff's daughter in Halloween 4? Meekers? Are you talking about, isn't her name Kelly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the movie?
But she's not a final girl, though. She's just a girl.
No, she's just a girl that showed her boobs, but with the bra on, and Brady covered it up when he went to make out with her.
That's it. Yeah.
So we got a little bit of butt cheeks when she got on top of him.
There it is.
I'm having a moment right now.
Yeah, Tony's having a moment right now, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm reflecting back on Halloween 4.
Tony is having a moment.
See, I don't consider. I know, like someone said here, Dave's girl is Danielle Harris. I don't consider Danielle Harris a final girl. I consider her a final kid.
Danielle Harris,
because she was a kid in Halloween 4 and 5. But
why
I never
my
seen
girl?
Hatchet.
Why is my girl?
I think they're teasing you.
Danielle Harris. Oh, I don't not like Danielle Harris. I think Danielle Harris is fine. I don't know why.
I put her as a final kid, final princess, scream princess.
Yeah.
She was a kid in those movies.
Yeah, it's hard to...
I mean, I know she's done the Hatchet stuff, but I've never really seen those.
Yeah, final...
Shelley got the porn magazine.
He does. Do they even
just
make look at
anymore?
This woman behind the counter. Look at her. Jesus. She looks like she's living somewhere rough. Now, I will say that this is probably the cheesiest part of the... I don't like this part of the movie.
The biker gang?
Yeah, it's very... Like, I would love to talk...
Don't need it.
Well, I would love to... It's not that. It's that I would love to talk to somebody, and maybe I'll talk to my brothers, because my brothers are 9 and 11 years older than me, and maybe they would remember, although I doubt they would remember. I doubt it. But I'd love to talk to somebody who does remember. Not pretending to remember, actually does remember watching this movie in 1982 at the movie theater or wherever and did this scene, because in retrospect it does, but the movie's almost 40 years old, did this scene with the bikers play out as cheesy and as ridiculous as it does now? Because it's like this gang is, they're caricatures of themselves. It's like they're cartoon characters. It's like nobody acts like this. No tough guy. It just seems kind of like it's like like I'm watching a Looney Tunes.
They definitely are not hanging out in a small area like Crystal Lake, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it just feels like all you need is the guy next to the one guy going, okay, boss. Like it feels like a cartoon. It's just a little too cheesy. But maybe in 1982 this played out fine. I don't know. But then again, I mean, I don't know. The fuck do I know? I think somebody mentioned the color.
Well, you know, I mean, back then too, they weren't overthinking it with these characters too.
No.
And it's making these movies, and people didn't really, people weren't dissecting movies like they are today.
No, but certainly I'm just talking about the performance, and it was a little cheesy maybe. But at the same time, these movies, by this point, by part 3, has a cheese factor to it. I mean, you look at the musical intro, the whole, they became, like just not to be taken seriously. I love he's got his, look at this fist right. Oh yeah, he punches right through the sugar glass window here in a second.
That's right. I forgot this dude like rocks a chain around his neck.
Yes.
Like a real chain.
A real chain. See, that's how you
know
you're
do
a
little
man.
Cheesy chains.
Fuck no.
Exactly.
He's
I'm gonna, you know what?
man.
I'm gonna go to Home Depot tomorrow and get myself a chain and just walk around with a real chain like that.
I think you should. Shelly, the
quiet, silent hero.
Yeah. I think Shelly should have taken over and been the final guy in the rest of the series.
There you go.
Yeah. We should have followed Shelly. We should have followed Shelly. Should have followed it.
But you still don't get the girl, Shelly. Sorry, buddy.
No, Shelly. And I hate to say this because it's not going to be very politically correct.
Oh boy.
But it's true. One thing that annoys me in movies, and it's not, and let me preface this by saying this, it's not that the only thing that matters is looks. That's not true at all. Everybody here in the chat room has probably been in a position, everybody watching live or after the fact, we've all been in a position where, whether it was high school or college or just your life, where you see somebody from afar and, based on looks, you're like, holy shit, man, they're like a 9 out of 10. You know what I mean? And then you get to know them and you're like, yeah, now they're a 3. And then the opposite happens too, where you see somebody and they're like, they're okay. Yeah, they're kind of cute. But then you get to know them and they're instantly like a 10 out of 10. I mean, listen, personality, confidence, there's a lot of many different things that go into how you are attracted to somebody. But one thing that frustrates me in some movies, not that it happens here, that I see is when some woman who is incredibly attractive ends up with a guy who is, she's like nine levels way out of his league. And it's like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't. And he's like unattractive and really nerdy, and it's just like that doesn't, and she's falling for him, and it's like, oh god, it doesn't happen, folks. That doesn't mean that it never happens, but generally speaking, that kind of thing doesn't happen. So yes,
I don't know, dude. I've seen dudes,
of
man,
course,
that I look at when I'm out and about, and
yep,
the girls are with, I'm like, damn, bro,
yep,
you got to be either
100%
seriously packing or you are loaded.
100%, and it's probably one or the other. No, again, it's not an exact science, right? I mean, I'm not saying it never happens. I'm just saying that generally speaking, you don't usually see incredibly attractive men or women with 3 out of 10 better halves. Not usually, unless it's somebody who they've been with for years and now, dad's got a dad bod and they're still together and the mom just happens to be doing Pilates and is really attractive. Okay, yeah, that of course. But come on, we are visually attracted to people for reasons. And, when you see somebody like Shelley in Friday the 13th Part 3, there's no hope in hell. And at this age, especially at this age, right? When you're teenagers in your early 20s, when you're older, you're in your 30s or 40s, it's very different. You're much more mature. The things that matter to you are much bigger and not as superficial or surface level that they did years ago. It's very different. But generally speaking, you don't usually see people like Shelley ending up with people like the woman he was with at the gas station. Doesn't usually happen. So I'm just glad that that didn't happen, because it does. It's got to be a hell of a story and a hell of a reason for me to believe that would happen. Not very nice to say, but it's true. It's true. You have to be attracted to them on some level physically, and generally speaking, people tend to. Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying all that matters is looks. I'm just saying things that people, it's true. People watching right now going, can't believe he's saying it, but he's right. Yeah, exactly.
We've turned our show into Sally Field.
Yes, we have.
Or Sally Jones. What was her name?
Oh, Sally Jesse Raphael.
Whatever. Yeah.
That's what it is.
My grandmother watched that chick all the time.
Yeah.
Her and Donahue,
that...
Oprah, obviously.
Oprah, yeah.
Everybody watched Oprah. Good old Harpo. Yeah. And then for several Friday films afterwards, we got the Red Barn. It's in this. You get this in Part 4, I think, too.
Mm-hmm.
You also get a Red Barn in Part 5.
Yep.
So yeah, we get consecutive Friday films with the Red Barn. They were filling that Red Barn.
Yep. True. Brooke Louie says there has to be chemistry. Yep. Oh, for sure. And again, like I said, it doesn't mean that people who are
unless you're going for a one night,
stereotypically, it doesn't mean that people who are stereotypically not a 10 out of 10 don't end up with. I'm not saying it never happens. I'm just saying that sometimes when I watch movies, I don't believe it. I especially when we're dealing with a certain age group. Okay, a certain age group. That doesn't mean that there isn't somebody that. It sucks that I got to preface every fucking thing I say, because so many people go, well, but Dave, you said. It's like, yeah, I know. Don't take it literally. Nuance, people. Nuance, right? Nuance. Just because I say something doesn't mean that it means that there isn't ever an example of it not happening. We're talking generally here. And generally speaking, teenagers are not going for the fat guy because he's nice. They're going for the hot guy or girl because they're hot. That's what it is. And it's true. It's true. As you get older, though, things can change a little bit. Brooke Louie is right. Chemistry is important.
What Dave is saying, if you ain't attractive, you don't have a chance in hell.
That's right. Oh, and there's somebody, there's somebody in the chat right now that's going, well, I think that's what he's saying. I love you all. Relax. Frank, Dave's woke. That's funny. Frank the Tank. But Brooke Louie is right. Chemistry is very important. 100%. You gotta be attracted. And you discover that as you get older too. Like the older you get, the less those superficial things matter to you. It still matters. I mean, you still have to be attracted to the person physically on some level, but it's not like it is when you're 16 or 17. I mean, Jesus, think back to when you were that age. You know what I mean? And what you looked for and cared about.
Well, yeah. I mean, shit. If you're gonna be married to someone and do the whole forever shit with someone, you don't want to be unattracted to them. I mean, you are gonna be intimate with them for the next 50, 60 years, and you want to be enjoying what you're looking at when you're intimate with them.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Or else that's when wandering eyes happen.
Yeah, it's very true. Here comes this guy. He's a tough guy, this guy. Look at him. He's huge. He's ripped. He's chiseled. He's got that bandana wrapped around his arm. Yes.
I don't remember that style in the 80s, but apparently I guess it was a thing,
apparently.
Right? For bikers.
Apparently. Yeah, like this subplot with the bikers just seems kind of
forced. Just you're adding body
it
count.
wasn't. Yeah, it's definitely not. Whenever I'm watching this, I want to go back to the camp. I want to go back and, although I do like the, I love this. Whoa. Yeah, get the 3D in there. Got to get that pull just right in there.
And he's got, I remember like people in the 80s having that. He's got that cross earring.
Mm.
That was very popular with people.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
It was, yeah. And back then,
George Michael had one, and Madonna had one.
But back then, do you remember that if you were a straight guy and you wanted to wear an earring, you had to wear it in your left ear? Because if you wore it in your right ear, it meant you were gay.
I don't know who started that, but that was so stupid.
It was a thing. It was an actual.
Yeah, I know.
Actual
I
thing.
know it was, but that was like one of the most dumbest things.
Yeah, it was dumb. I don't even know why it meant that, but
I don't know if that was. I don't know if the earring thing was. I mean, that's pretty dumb, but the Mr. Potato Head thing as of lately, that we might have sunk at our lowest with our stupidity.
Oh, it's not. It's getting bad. It's getting bad out there. If you're just joining us, we are at, where are we here? We're at 42, about 43 minutes into the movie. One of the bikers here is, I forget his name. I don't know, he's the...
They're both dead.
Oh! Here it comes. The look on his face. That's great. That's great. They did a good job.
Oh, and this is when he kind of fights.
He does. He fights back. And Jason here has got traps that would make Goldberg jealous. They're fucking huge. They're huge. Like, who is that guy who just jumped down here? Come on, you motherfucker. Oh, it is somebody's hand. Yeah.
Dude, he just straight up one-hit him and reset his factory settings.
That's, yeah.
Literally.
How long have you been waiting to bust that one out?
For a good minute, actually. I had to wait for the moment.
I will say this.
This chick is probably the hottest.
Which one?
In this movie, I like her the best. The Carrie Fisher lookalike.
Yeah, she's cute.
She's probably the hottest. She's a bit hotter than your girl.
I would.
Sorry, your final girl.
I think they're both attractive. I would say that the one thing I do like about Richard Brooker's Jason and Ted White's Jason in 4 is that I actually believe it's the same guy. Like they're of similar.
Oh yeah, they did good with that continuity.
They're of similar stature, and I have no issues believing it's the same Jason. You go from 2 to 3 and you're like, okay, clearly this guy has been working out. You go from 4 to 6 and it's clearly a different guy. I mean, even in part 6, you got, before it was the Graham guy.
3 different Jasons.
Yeah, because there's early on during the paintball scene in 6, there's a Jason that's got a bit of a pot belly, and then after that, you because I think he was one of the stunt
don't forget
guys.
that Jason who looks like he's been doing like 1,000 squats a day.
Yeah,
because they get a close up on that Jason's ass.
That's right. Oh yeah, exactly.
Is this when she shares her backstory of what happened to her?
Yeah, she does.
That's supposedly like years ago or something.
I think it's here.
Which technically is inaccurate. If this is a backstory that she's sharing, then Jason should have been wearing the coveralls in the sack and whatnot.
Yeah,
because he literally just changed into that outfit like the next day after the events of part 2.
That's right.
And she tells a backstory where Jason and her see each other and he's wearing the exact same fucking outfit that he just changed into.
It's true. I don't think continuity is at the forefront of these Friday the 13th films.
Absolutely. Except for the timeline. They definitely stay within the timeline.
I'm weak. You know? I would have done the same thing at that guy. If she came up to me and said, let's go upstairs, I would have said, okay, fuck it. Let's go. It's done.
Yeah.
Poor Shelley.
Let's have something.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least Friday the 13th never went off the rails.
And you know what, though? I will say this. Confidence is a big thing for all you guys out there. And I sincerely mean this right now. For all you guys out there.
A lot of relationship advice.
No, but I sincerely mean this. If you are confident in a genuine way, you know, it's a very attractive quality. Shelley is the number one reason why Shelley doesn't end up with this girl is not because he's not stereotypically, traditionally attractive, which is true, he's not. But it's primarily, and that does play a factor, okay? We cannot deny that it doesn't play a factor, but he's a little awkward. He's awkward, he's shy, he's really nerdy. He needs to be a little more confident, and maybe he needs to start, he's going for the big leagues here with this girl, right? Maybe he needs, which is fine. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but he's just got to build up his confidence a bit more, and confidence is a big thing. Confidence is a huge thing.
Sure.
But again, we got to think of it at the age, like these girls, I mean, look, they're probably older than, the actual ages they're playing, but they're playing like late teens or early 20s. That's an age where it's all about looks, I mean, you go to the bar and you're dancing at the club, you're not there to go, oh, I wonder who's the most confident in here. I mean, no, it's who's the hottest, right? And the older you get, it changes a bit. Keep your chin up, Shelley.
About that.
Keep it well. About that. Well, again, it's generally right. It's generally. Obviously, there are some people that it may not change, but depends on where you're fishing too, right? I mean, if you're fishing in the same pond or a pile of shit pond. But it's amazing that this guy right here is responsible for the Jason mask. Responsible for the Jason mask. That's crazy. It's crazy. Here's your Carrie Fisher moment.
We got the Friday the 13th boobs. Thank you, Carrie Fisher.
Yes.
Look alike.
There's the boob. Well, it was side boob.
Side boob, but I think we do get a little bit here.
Well,
this is when she shares the freaking story.
Here's the story. Here's the story that makes no sense.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, now that I think of it,
really makes
maybe he should have been in the coveralls.
Should have, and wearing the sack.
Right.
That should have been her experience.
You know what? You're
right.
Then
that would have made sense.
You're right. You're right. And but then the question becomes, where did Jason get the coveralls? Like, where did he?
He always had that.
Not the coveralls, but the overalls. Like, where did he get that and the plaid shirt? No, I know he did, but between 1 and 2, where did he get that? Did he walk into like a Salvation Army?
We got to believe that a boy who drowned from 1 came back to life.
I'm just saying.
Or did he not die?
No.
I've always toyed with that idea of
it's true
of that false death, that Jason never truly died.
True.
And Mama kept him out there in the woods, and they lived as a hermit, or as hermits out in the woods. And she was just seeking revenge for the lack of,
it's true,
camp counselors not paying attention to her son, and her son nearly drowning and dying.
It's true.
But she made people believe that he died. That's the one way you can twist Friday the 13th Part 2 around and make it believable that. Because see, now we go into the backstory.
Here it comes. I got to see this. This is so good.
This makes no sense. Here it comes.
And I love that they've set the opacity at about 50%, so you can see her talking. You can see her talking at the same time.
Dream sequence.
Yeah. Well, you have the opacity at 50%. Oh, now we've gotten full opacity here. Full opacity. Oh wait, no, we're doing some cross dissolves too. I like that.
Cross dissolves. Little
I like that. This is good stuff. It's good stuff.
You need to throw some of that in your It's Me Billy. Some throwback, some old.
I have every transition in It's Me Billy is a George Lucas side wipe. It's what it is. It's what it is. Yeah, totally.
I mean, look at him. I mean, he's in the outfit he literally just changed into.
Is he? Is he though?
Yeah.
It looks very similar. Looks very similar at the very least. Yeah, you're right. He certainly. Can you imagine if he had the hockey mask though? That'd be a big mistake.
Yeah. I mean, he should be in the coveralls and the flannel and the sack.
It looks
that would have made more sense.
The shirt looks a little different than the shirt he's got on now, though. It looks a little lighter than the shirt he's got on now. The shirt he's got on now looks darker, like a darker green. This looks almost like the same color as his pants. But that's still. But to your point, though, when did he have that outfit? Was that before he changed into the coveralls and shrunk 5 feet?
Right. Jason was during his off season. He wasn't lifting.
Right. I remember the first time I watched this movie back in the 80s. I watched it with my dad, and I'll never forget. It's funny what you remember, but watching this movie with my dad, we rented it, And when Jason smushes the guy's head and his eyeball pops out, my dad laughed hysterically at it. But it wasn't like I wasn't upset or anything. It was just funny seeing my dad, because I was just so thankful my dad was watching a horror movie with me. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget that. My dad just laughed at his eyeball going, and it's just great. It's funny stuff.
But when you think about that story I just told you, because now I'm thinking about your story, the backstory, and telling the Pamela Voorhees, what we talked about, doing a prequel with Pam Voorhees, and that would be an interesting twist, showing her actually living out there and taking care of Jason, young Jason, who is a little bit disfigured. Right. I'm using proper PC terms. That would not be the words they would be using back in the day. It would start with the big letter R.
Right. I got you.
You know what I mean? So when you think about that and the story you came up with, and we kind of fed off of each other on that with the Pam Voorhees backstory, that wouldn't be a bad movie.
No, I still...
She makes people feel that her son was killed, but in reality, he wasn't.
Right. Yeah. Well, you would definitely change the mythology a bit, and you would piss a lot of people off.
You'd make him human.
Yeah. No, exactly.
It'd be more realistic.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. But I'm just saying that there'd be those that obviously, and I get it, wouldn't like that. But when it comes to Friday the 13th, I just don't know where else you go. Because it's believable
that a Jason comes back from the dead looking like Walking Dead.
Well, look, you only have a couple of options. You either do a sequel to the 2009 film. Okay, this is option one, which I know there are a lot of fans out there that would like that.
Damn enchiladas! Oh wait, no, that's the wrong.
That's part five. Or you do a sequel to one of the earlier films, erasing. You pull a Halloween 18 thing. 2018. Or you start again. But if you start again, you don't want to necessarily just start with Jason in kind of the same way that you did 09, because 09, although it's 11 years old, in terms of its production value and its quality, it's still a really current, relevant kind of, like, what are you going to do? Just do the same thing over again? Yeah, like it feels like you're just going to tell the same thing over again. Same story. Yeah. So I think you need to go back and take a risk, do something different. Yeah. Tell the Pamela Voorhees story. And again, winning solves everything. Yeah, I get it. He's the brand. Jason's the brand. The Mask was the brand. I get all that. But you know what? If they delivered a Friday the 13th film, if they really did, with Pamela Voorhees, they told that story, the backstory. They told it from the beginning, from the get-go. It was dark. It was intense. It was bloody. It was gory. It was everything you wanted. And at the end of that movie, you realize they're setting it up for Jason in the next one. You wouldn't give a fuck. You wouldn't give a fuck, because you'd sit there going, that was such a good movie. Oh my God, I am so fucking excited for part 2 with Jason.
And here's the cool part too, what you could do with this, right? So you tell that backstory that we talked about, set in the early 60s, and all shit breaks loose in Camp Crystal Lake and whatnot, setting up the mythology that you hear in the first film that they talk about. Yeah. And then at the beginning of that part 2 with Jason, it's stealing the idea of 09, but you could do the same thing. Instead of doing a whole movie where you see Pam Voorhees gets killed, you show it as an intro, like the first 20 minutes of the movie. You show what happens to her and Jason seeing it or something like that.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's older. It's not not young Jason. It's older, and maybe he was trying to get to his mother to help her and save her, but he doesn't. Right. You know what I mean? It's just kind of one of those moments, and then boom, you move on with Jason.
It is amazing.
If you're trying to be new, you know what I mean?
It is amazing watching these Friday the 13th movies and how there's no story. And that, and what's interesting is that it's just literally one death sequence after the other. There's no story really. There
never was.
No, well, that's my point.
Well, and 1 and 2 kind of have a story.
But what's interesting is that it's funny how 40-year-old men like us can get so emotionally attached to this series and take it so serious, and and beyond us, because you and I, it's not, there are hardcore Friday the 13th fans, and it's like, no, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. When it came out, it's like, these were just, the reason why they kept making these movies, and so many of them, is not because they had a story to tell. It's because they're cheap, and you guys just love going to watch. It's surface level nonsense, just shit. The problem is today that kind of movie doesn't work. There's a lot of people that say, "Hey, listen, how hard is it to make a Friday the 13th movie? Just put a bunch of kids at a camp and go to town." Yes, 40 years ago. But in 2021, you might be able to get away with.
People want depth. People want meaning. Well, people want arcs. People want. Yeah, I get it.
And right. and I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that, because I think
but it doesn't fit with movies like
it doesn't
this.
fit. So you have to, as Tony and I were saying, it becomes a balancing act. You don't want to get rid of the DNA of Friday the 13th, but you've got to evolve it. You have to mature it a little bit to make it much more interesting for modern audiences. And that's why what Vincent DeSanti is doing with Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, you watch those films and they still have the DNA. Like the DNA is there, but it feels.
But he's bringing some story.
It does. There's some story to it. It feels more mature. It feels more grounded, but it still feels like Friday the 13th. And that's what you got to do. You got to do that. And although I know people love the 2009 movie, and yeah, you have a story about there's a girl that goes missing and her brother comes and looks at. Okay, great. But at the end of the day, you have your stereotypical archetypal characters. You got the slut. You got the jock. You got this. You got that. And I just don't know if those movies have any longevity. If you want Friday the 13th to be more than just a one-off, if you want it to be hugely successful and to spawn a series again, you've got to evolve. You got to evolve or die. Things change.
And make it realistic.
Yes, and make it realistic. Because these kinds of movies are now B movies. This wasn't a B movie when it came out. I mean, it is and it isn't. But I'm just saying, like, these were mainstream Hollywood theatrical wide releases. Now, this movie would be fucking on Netflix buried in the horror section. These kinds of movies are not what is there anymore, and so if you want Friday the 13th, the longevity of that, man, it's got to evolve, but it's the balancing act. I don't just mean you just you completely
except for my
reinvent it.
fan film, I'm going old school. I'm making it campy just like this.
Mm-hmm.
So people, when they watch it, it's going to feel like, oh shit, I haven't seen something like this in a long time.
Right.
Which I think people will appreciate the fact because of that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And it's a fan film. So it's not part of the studios.
Yeah.
I think I'm able to get away.
You can do
with
whatever
that,
you want. Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? And not have to worry about the story so much. And it's just, okay, let me set up these simple scenes, kids hanging out, boom, set up the kills, boom, move on.
Well, it's one of the things that myself and Bruce, when we were developing It's Me, Billy, we had. Guys, I can't, and this is not a lie. This is not an exaggeration. We spent hours and weeks hashing out the story. What is the story? How can we push the narrative forward? Because it's Me, Billy, although it's a short film and it's a fan film. As we've shot it professionally. It's a professional film, and it's a sequel to the original. Well, we don't want to just do the same thing over again, but at the same time, we don't want to get rid of the DNA of Black Christmas. It is Black Christmas. We have to preserve the integrity of that DNA, but we still have to push it forward. We got to push the narrative forward, right? And we spent hours and days, weeks thinking about how do we do this? And you're not going to please everybody, but what do we do? What is the right thing to do while we mature it for today's audiences?
God damn,
but
those
it's still Black Christmas at the end of the day. And that's something that's not easy to do. Yeah, these traps are fucking huge.
Look at this. As if she would think
that Shelley. As if she would think that Shelley. Look at this. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Who are you? I was just going to say, he's fucking huge. This is a great kill, though. Here it is. This is one of my favorites in this fucking movie. Yes. Come on. Oh.
Of course, with my iTunes HD, I totally saw the string on that.
Oh, I know. But it's, yes. And that is the first time right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first time that you are seeing Jason Voorhees, one of the most iconic horror villains in the history of motion pictures, the hockey mask, one of the most iconic symbols, I should say,
steroid
of
traps.
Horror. You are seeing, that's the first time you're seeing it. Of course, in 1982, you would never know, but that's a great trivia question for people. What was Jason's first kill in the iconic hockey mask? What was Jason's first kill in the iconic hockey mask? And that would be it.
Well, in the mask. I was going to say he took the mask from Shelley. That's right.
Yeah, in the mask, I'm saying. Like the first time we see him, what is his first kill? And it would be that woman there. No, not here, but the one that was just killed.
Yeah.
And Yeah. But that's what you got to do, man. And I think if you are honoring the integrity of the source material, you're honoring there's the boobs. Bibs.
There's the boobs.
You're honoring what came before, and you're not insulting your audience. You're not, you're not insulting the intelligence of your audience. I would like to think that most audiences today are mature enough, famous last words. I would like to believe that most are mature enough to understand that when they see something that is, that is not reinventing, but that is a bit more mature or is moving into the 21st century but at the same time is still honoring the original, I think they see that and they go, you know what? This was really good. It still felt like the movie I loved. It still felt that way. And that's not an easy thing to do. It's a balancing act, man. It really, really is. And it's difficult. It's a lot easier said than done.
Oh yeah. Like you said, I fully expect that I'm going to get haters because, the movie that I do is going to be Sackhead Jason. It's not going to be the
people are going to love that, dude. People are going to love it.
I don't know. I feel like the hockey fans are going to be like, it's not Jason without the hockey mask.
Fuck them. If anybody ever sends you a message, then you just need to go right back. That's what you do. You just send an Instagram post. Just go. I love that.
Jason splitting that dude in two.
Oh, he just split him. So great. But it's true. These kinds of movies, like when you watch the first Terrifier, that's more of a gore, almost an exploitation film because it really is. It's far gorier and graphic than most any Friday the 13th film. But if Terrifier had come out, 40 years ago, it's entirely possible that might have had a wide release, in theaters, during the slasher boom. But when the slasher boom died, a lot of these types of movies are now sort of B movies, straight to streaming. The horror has evolved, and there's nothing wrong with that. Horror has evolved. It's matured. And I know people don't like hearing that, true. But it has. And I think, and I can't speak for everybody, of course, but for me, I know I've matured and my tastes have matured. It's not like I don't like watching these kinds of movies. I love it. It's great. But definitely I like the more psychological films now, but maybe it's because I'm older and,
you're a grumpy old man.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But I love these movies, the nostalgia, Friday the 13th, Jason. Yeah, these are great. We grew up with these movies. But I think what Vince is doing with Friday the 13th is the right direction for the series. That doesn't mean that everybody has to agree with his choice on where to start in the timeline, who he's brought in. But the tone of the films is right. It's what you got to do.
And she's reading Fangora.
She is. She is. Yeah. There you go.
You don't think? Oh, and they got Tom Savini opened up too. Oh, there's Godzilla.
Yeah. Yes. Godzilla. 25 years.
Godzilla making a cameo in Friday the 13th.
Oh, somebody ruining that Fangoria magazine. Yes. 25 years of Godzilla.
Oh, little throwback to Kevin Bacon. Getting a little throwback to Kevin Bacon there from under the bed and
yes,
through.
That was right through there. That's too bad. She's dead.
That's it. Bye, Carrie Fisher. Wannabe.
Now I get the impression that because Chris never came back, I guess because they want a different girl for every fucking movie. But because at the end of this movie, I don't think she survives this whole movie, but she ends up kind of crazy at the end of the movie. Like you get the impression that she's kind of crazy and that she's going to be locked up.
She's gone off the hinges.
Yeah, so maybe they couldn't. They're just like, no, she's insane. She's going to be in an insane.
Godzilla versus Jason, who would win? Godzilla would just step on him.
Jason would win. No, Jason wouldn't win. Just like he's not. Just like Kong's not going to win.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
In case you guys didn't know, Tony is Team Kong. I'm Team Godzilla.
Right. Your boy needs that nuclear breath to win. Kong just needs his two fists.
I don't know. Kong needed to grow 100 feet just to compete.
Well, that's Hollywood.
That's true. That's true.
They made him grow. That's not Kong's fault.
No, I know. It's true. It's true. But Kong actually wasn't. Kong in the original 1933 movie, I think, was about 20 feet tall.
Yeah, he wasn't a big.
I mean, it's big for an ape. You see an ape that's 20 feet tall. Big, you're like, holy Jesus, this is huge.
Yeah.
And in Jackson's movie, I think he was like 30 feet or something. Yeah. Which is huge. I mean, that's.
And huge. I think he's like what, like 80, 90, 100 feet, somewhere around there in the 76.
Yeah, something like that, or 60 to 80 feet. Yeah, something like that. And then in
Kong was never intended to be as big as Godzilla. No. I mean, it's cool that they're doing it for the fun of it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's fun to joke around with, you know, like you and Devin are both on Godzilla's side. I'm on Kong's side.
That's it.
So it's fun to do that. It takes me back to the 80s when my friends were Hulk Hogan fans and I was Macho Man fans.
Oh yeah.
Of course we know Hogan was never going to put Macho Man over ever. Fucking prima donna bitch.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
You know what still pisses me off about that fucker is the first time Macho Man wins the title in WrestleMania 4, that douchebag needs to be in the ring with him at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
Dude was such a dick.
He was.
He never let Randy Savage have his moment by himself.
Yeah.
He always had to have the fucking spotlight on him.
It's true. He always had to seem like he was the good guy. What was I going to say? Today in the mail, I got my one sheet of Godzilla 1985, the poster.
Cool.
Looks great. I just have to get a frame for it.
Very cool.
I love how they're like, yeah, okay, Shelley.
Well, you kind of, you fool me once.
It's true. Crying wolf, how many times in this movie? Like 500 times or something like that?
Jason standing back there looking
I love
like
it.
Michael.
That's great, though. I love it. Yeah, but he's huge. Look at him. He's fucking huge. He's huge. Yes. Yeah, that's right. Your boy's getting electrocuted, woman. Electrocuted. Yeah. Shelley is dead. Oh my God. No. God, the studios must have just banked. Man, they're so cheap to
This chick is just like walking around slowly like, Shelley's dead. No, instead of leaving the house, I'm going to run upstairs.
I know. Shelley's dead. Oh, fire poker. This is the Black Christmas fire poker right here. That's right, Richard Brooker. Get that out and shove it into the lens of the camera. I wonder how many times they got too close to the lens and pissed the DP off. Don't hit the fucking lens. What are you doing?
Now I'm going to run outside. Nope. The door opens on its own. I'm going to stay inside.
She just took that like a champ. Oh,
I will say, if I were to rank some of the worst kills, that would definitely be one. The aftermath of him carrying her is cool, but she didn't really sell that one.
He's huge. I wonder if people in 1982 thought him donning the hockey mask was cheesy. Like, I wonder if anybody was like, oh, he's wearing the hockey mask? Come on.
It's a pissed off goalie.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, could you not see if this happened? Like, again, folks, it's hard to think about this in hindsight. Like it's hard to think about it in relative terms. But you know as well as I do, Tony, that if this movie had come out today,
it would have been laughed.
There would be people that would be going, he's wearing the hockey mask? Oh, come on. And then there'd be some people like, oh, that's fucking cool. But I wonder if 1982, there was
I don't think it would be as popular as it is today. I don't think it was as iconic. I don't think it would make that type of status like it ultimately became.
Agreed. I tend to agree with that.
I think the way people are today and just how quickly they are to judge things and put things down and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
I don't
social
think
media.
Would be
I if it wasn't for what I did, not just for this channel, but of course for a living with all the VO stuff and everything, I'd be totally off. I'd be totally off social media. It's, and I don't mean that in any offense to anybody here. The people who do reach out to me, 99% of you guys are amazing. I love you guys. You know that. But I think we all can agree that the vast majority of social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, is just a toxic cesspool of dog shit. And it's just one fart in the wind after another who thinks they're, it's absolute
Yeah, they
Barf.
get mad because it's a white hockey mask.
You know what? As funny as you're
as
saying,
stupid as that sound, that's what would happen.
But that is how insane the world is becoming. It's insane.
Yep.
Come on, Chris, you can do it. I believe in you. Chris. I love this. Look at this. look at the way he's there.
I know.
No, she doesn't hear any of this because the wind is so loud. She hears none of this. That's right. That's right. It's so great. Here it comes. Here comes the eyeball out of the head. You might be a second too ahead of me.
This is a good kill.
Here it comes. Yes.
I like this kill. This is good.
I love it. I love that, man. That's so great. And I always think of my dad when I watch that. When I watch that kill, I always think of my dad. Rest in peace, Dad. Rest in peace. What the hell did she walk into? A spider web? Oh, no. Something's dripping. I just saw her walk into air and do this. What the hell is she doing? Yeah, this cabin, I think, was built for the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I think so. I think so. Or maybe, yeah, I think it was. And then torn down after or something.
Yeah, Chastity. I'm hearing that now, that there's actually a legit, and that's a legit thing. There's a Facebook jail. Like they literally send you to jail.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like you get temporarily kicked off of Facebook if you violate whatever their rules are now.
Well,
I'm so glad I got off that platform.
Oh yes, here she comes. She's walking closer to the tub. Come on. I wonder what happened to this actress.
Like most of these, just kind of went off and no one heard from them again.
Okay, at that point, I would be like leaving. I would, yeah, exactly. You gotta get
does she do the conventions at all?
I have no idea. That's a good question. I don't know. Come on.
That's some strong wind, man.
That is some strong wind. That is totally synthetically created because it's blowing some of the foliage, but the other foliage isn't blowing at all. but it's great. Like it's early 80s slasher. Like, you forgive those things because it's the 80s, man. It's low budget horror movie for Christ's sake.
All 80s horror movies is forgiven.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think that's what the charm of it makes it so great, because we'll never see anything like this again.
No, you won't. You won't.
Unless someone specifically makes it that way.
Because these movies are almost stylized now. They
are. They're very stylized. There's a certain aesthetic look to the makeup,
feel,
and the effects
the acting
that they did. And
you would have to make it like that. Like even modern day slashers don't feel like this. Because they're modern, they're more polished, it's a slasher in its genre, in the sense of you got a guy with a weapon slashing people, and maybe a final girl perhaps, but you don't, it's not like this. Like this looks like a haunted house, you go into it Halloween time, the shutters. It's great stuff, man. It's great stuff. It's the early 80s. It's great. Yeah, Facebook, yeah, it's just, I will scroll. Sometimes I'll scroll and I'll see, and I'm just like, what the fuck? There's so many people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Oh!
That's why I'm only on Instagram. I don't care about any other social media.
Yeah, you did the right thing, Tony. What's this guy's name again? Bob? Bill? Paul?
I don't even know.
I can't remember.
Rick?
Rick!
Is it Rick?
Is it Rick? Rick Ramby? I don't know. Isn't he a mask maker? Rick Ramby? I think he is.
He was about to sing that song, Never Gonna Give You Up, Never Gonna Let You Down. Rick Ashley.
Thought he had a gun there for a minute. Yes, Jason, look at those
I'm going to throw some books onto Jason, and Jason's going to fall down.
Do you know what would really be funny?
That reminds me, you ever see the Odd Boy Meets World episode where they do a a salute to Scream because Jennifer Love Hewitt's on the episode because she was dating Will Friedle, whatever his
Will
Eric,
Friedle.
Eric
I
Matthews.
remember watching it back then.
And you remember they pushed the books on Jennifer Love Hewitt. And
Yes.
that kind of reminded me of that. Like nobody would die from books.
Let's just say that everybody in my life when that episode came out did not let me not know that episode was going to air.
It's one of
People
my
knew
favorite
I was
Boy Meets
obsessed with her back then.
World episode.
Yeah.
It's a really good episode because they just play on the whole horror thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would be really funny if Jason in this movie jackhammered Chris. Think of the Goldberg jackhammer.
Or Tombstone Undertaker.
Yes, exactly. Imagine Jason putting wrestling finishing moves on Chris. And it's one after the other. It's like, of course, this is long before there was like a finishing move. I think the only finishing move in 1982 would have been like the Hogan leg drop or something. So maybe that's what he does. Maybe he does the Hogan leg drop here on Chris. Can you imagine? Oh my God, I'd be busting. That'd be so great. I love this. Because this is so simple filmmaking. You get the camera backing up, slashing at the camera. It's so great. I'm telling you. And Jason goes up with the leg and down across Chris's head.
God, this is where we need JR.
Dude, it'd be amazing. And then he gets up.
God almighty, she's broken in half.
And he picks her up and does a jackhammer. Somebody's got to animate that shit, man. Somebody's got to animate.
Oh God, yeah, this is where JR would be like, please God, no, don't do it.
Somebody has to add. It's true, he would be. Somebody has to animate Friday the 13th, Jason
and
Part 3. And
she's going to fall, right? And then JR would be like, good God almighty.
Yep.
Good God almighty. She's broken in half.
Somebody has to animate Friday the 13th, Part 3, Jason jackhammering Chris. In the barn. Oh my God, I'd love it. I'd fucking love it. It'd be so great. Yeah. I love random.
What makes that moment for JR and when he calls that during the Hell in a Cell match with Mankind and Undertaker is anytime you see someone falling and busting their ass, you just dub that over it and there you go.
That's right.
Good God almighty.
Yeah.
She killed him.
Oh, down goes Brooker.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Hey, there were water droplets on the lens there for a minute. That's kind of interesting. I think it was the 3D. They have something like a different lens. Yeah, it's interesting for the 3D. Oh, the keys. Oh, the keys. Come on, Chris, get out of there. Jason's going to come in here in a second and put his head and his hands through the sugar glass. It's breakaway glass. It looks so fake too, but it's fan-fucking-tastic. Oh, you can see one of the light. You can see one of the I never noticed that before. When she backed up to pull out of there, you can see one of the external lights in the reflection of the windshield.
I just saw that.
You saw that too? Yeah. I never noticed that before. You can see one. Yeah, you can see it. That's interesting. Oh, I mean, what are you going to do, right?
And of course, conveniently, it's going to stop on the bridge.
Mm-hmm. I still wish he would have jackhammered her. Poor. Yeah, I think this girl's an all right final girl. Like I like her intensity. I like her urgency. I like that I believe that she's scared. I believe that she's like, Jason's limping and running. Yeah, anybody who ever said that Jason never runs, by the way, just watch.
He ran in part 2.
He ran in part 2, part 3, part 4. He's always ran.
He speed walked in part 6.
Yes, that's true. He wasn't. Can you imagine if he sprinted, like full on sprint?
He kind of does in part 2.
Yeah, he does a little bit.
There's a couple of moments where he's really running.
Yep. Here it comes. He's gonna put his head through the glass. Jason. Dun 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 dun. Mono. Run, Chris, run.
He's running here.
He is, yeah, he's running. I wonder why Brooker never came back for 4. Somebody in the chat will probably know.
I thought. Oh no, that was the guy who played him in part 4.
Yeah.
He didn't really like playing Jason. The guy who played him in 4.
Oh, Ted White.
Ted White. Yeah, I've seen him in the interviews. He didn't like Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman got under his nerves.
No. Just kidding. Jeff Harris says Goldberg spear. That's what Jason spears, Chris. Like a full speed.
I just can't take this guy seriously, man. Like if I'm looking at Sackhead,
look at the size of him.
His traps make him look goofy.
No, but he's fine. Listen. In one day,
I'd be like, look, bro, before you kill me, you gotta tell me something. What did you do? Just trap day every day?
No, well, he didn't have these. It's only the day after. So
I know he got huge in a day.
I'm
like, bro, what's your secret?
He did. He went back into the woods. He started deadlifting tree trunks and started injecting himself with roids that he got off one of the campers from part 2. That's what it was. And he's fucking ripped. He's chiseled.
But you see, like the back, he's almost got like a hunchback thing going on.
He does. I have NECA's toy of him. And my Friday the 13th Jason mask back there. I should have brought it out, actually, for this show. I didn't even think to do that. I bought the part 3 mask at a convention a couple years ago.
Right.
I got the third one because I was like, it's classic. The barn scene. Oh yeah, he's fucking huge. His traps. I tell you, he's a beast.
Because you can't just look up, right?
That's right. No, he can't. Well, he can. His traps are so big, he can't.
That's right. His traps are so big, his neck mobility is very limited.
Very limited. Very limited. If he had to look up, in order for him to look up, he has to lie down. So he does that. Imagine seeing him lie down. Just to look up. Oh, there he goes. He's looking up. Oh! Right on top of him. Run, Chris, run. Run, Luke, run. Here comes the machete.
Chester Franklin, my favorite Jason actor. Part 2, Gillette and Dash. Or Dash, primarily, then Gillette for the one
Gillette,
scene.
The best a man can get. By Manon. She's got a shovel now. Oh, he's coming up. He's coming up. This is actually a pretty good, like a nice chase scene, in the barn.
Yeah.
Utilizing the barn and the different levels and the hay and things like that. It's always fun to watch that. It's always fun. Oh, right on the head.
What weapon would I use to fight Jason? My fists. Yeah. Then I lose.
Jason's traps. Gotta wrap this.
I probably wouldn't be able to use a weapon. I'm a dude, and most of us dudes were too stupid in these movies, and we got killed off pretty quick.
It's true. It's true. Oh yeah,
the
I'd
girls
be dead
were the smart ones, man.
Yeah. If I was ever in a Halloween movie and I was going to get killed by Michael, I'd want to happen after I say to him, "It's time, Michael." And then he kills me and he's like, "No, it's not." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
If I were in a Halloween movie, I'd want to be Bob because then I'm going to get some TNA before I die.
Naturally.
Hey, while I'm going to get that beer.
Naturally. Makes sense.
Naturally. Go get me the beer.
Thought you were going to get me one. Yeah. You thought I was going to get you one? You thought I was going to get you one, eh, Bob? You really thought I was going to get you one, you fucking son of a bitch, you goddamn motherfucker. And then Bob's like, "Holy shit, calm down, Linda. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, calm down.
I'll go get the beer.
Relax." Shit.
You should do an overdub dialogue of that scene and post
I should.
it.
Did you see my Dr. Loomis road rage?
Yeah, that was good.
People thought it was me. I was filming. I'm like, no.
I saw that.
No, it was a video I saw online. It didn't have any audio, so I just added audio to it. I should do that.
You should.
You're gonna give me a beer? You give me a beer?
I thought you were gonna get me a beer. No, you get me a beer.
Can you give me a chocolate milk? Thought you were gonna give me one.
Get me a chocolate. Yes, that instead of a beer, dude. Can you give me a chocolate milk?
Yes.
Go give me a chocolate milk.
Oh, Jason. Now, No.
Be alive.
Look at him. His traps are pulling him up
It's
there.
you!
Oh, it's you. As if you wouldn't know it was him.
He looking a little bit like, what's his name from the Goonies there?
Yeah. Sloth. It'd be funny if you said, hey, you guys.
You know?
How could she
not?
not?
Really, if he said, hey, you guys, I'd be like, hey, there's Sloth.
Look at the size of those traps. He's alive! The biker's alive!
How is he doing alive when Jason was chopping him up earlier on? I'm just like throwing that out there, but
oh, he got his whole thing just sliced
I know
right
he punched
off.
him and knocked him out on one hit, but I could have sworn I saw Jason chopping him up with that machete earlier.
That was intense. Yeah, it's true.
Like he's doing right now.
I don't know how he got up.
I don't know how he got up either.
But how could Chris not put two and two together? That this guy who just is wearing a mask is the same size and dressed the same as the guy that attacked her. Like, you think she would have put like, oh, this I think this is him. Yeah, the famous reaching at the lens thing. It's this thing that's happening right now, folks. It's this thing. And down he goes. And that mask right there forever had that axe in it until what movie?
8. That's when he gets the new mask.
He gets the new mask in 8. I think it was 7 though, when he's staring at the girl and the mask splits apart, right?
Yes, that's what. Yeah, the 7 is where this mask we're to believe.
Yeah.
Well, no. Hold on. Tommy buries or digs up Jason in 6 and throws a mask.
Right, you are correct.
Is it the same? I don't think it is. That it's the same mask.
Is it? I don't know. We'll have to hear the Friday the 13th
cinephiles.
cinephiles.
That's a replica part 6 mask, and it does have the split there.
It does have the split, so maybe it is.
So maybe Tommy took the mask from Jason at the end of part 4.
Yeah, maybe it is.
And held on to it for a memento.
Maybe, perhaps.
Oh God, I forgot about this.
You forgot about this?
Yeah, because I haven't seen this. Like this is the stupid.
This is all dried up now, too. By the way, this whole
Jason's mother pops out of the water with her head magically attached back to her fucking body,
which makes no sense.
no fucking sense at all. But
it doesn't have to make sense.
No, of course not.
Ma'am, we didn't find any, ma'am. I know, I love laughing at my own jokes.
They absolutely did not need to do this jump scare. It's so stupid.
Ma'am, we didn't find any old hag in the water.
With a decapitated head that magically got put back on.
With a decapitated head that magically went back on. Here she comes. Oh, no. She thinks first she thinks she sees him. She has like did they have fucking a vignette on the side of that lens? That was weird.
It looked, that's what I say. Did I see that too?
That was kind of weird. He's coming out.
Oh, there's a Sloth.
Sloth.
You go.
She's having a vision.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
That's it. Come on, get away, Chris.
Into a bunch of trees.
Yeah, and then she looks back and it's all boarded up or something or whatever. Because doesn't he come out of the door, the front door? Yeah, that's right. Dude, that's right. That's a cool shot, though.
He came out of there like Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin.
He did.
Man.
That's a cool shot, though.
All you need is the glass breaking and playing Austin's music. That's it. Here comes Jason.
It was just your imagination. Just your imagination.
Oh,
but we're setting you up, giving you a fall. Yes! Oh!
So cheesy. Although that woman grabbed her boob.
Oh, boob. Boobage.
Someone grabbed your boob.
Boobage. It almost looks like if Ginny had died in the water and came out, because she had her sweater on and it looked like blonde kind of hair a little bit.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat room. The original part 3 that they wanted to do with Amy Steele before Amy Steele turned it down, wasn't it supposed to take place in the hospital? Kind of a Halloween 2 vibe? Is that what they approached her with on the idea?
I don't know. And
she turned it down. I think I could have sworn I heard her talk about that in Crystal Lake Memories, the documentaries. I haven't watched that.
You might have
to go back and watch that.
What the fuck is said here? Hang on, I'm turning this up.
Dude, she is one flew over her cuckoo's nest.
She is. Look at this.
Holy shit.
Right here.
I should date her.
See, and this is why I don't think she
would be perfect.
And this is why I don't think she ever came back. I think that was that. Yeah, like look how fucking yeah. See,
she is perfect.
See, she's that's why she never came back. She fucking lost it. It's too bad. I liked Chris.
Sweet Tea is saying yes. I don't know if she's saying yes to what I just said about Amy Steele's. Aaron Click is saying I think you're right about that as well too. Yeah.
Yes,
that
I know you can hear it. I know you can hear it. I turned it up on purpose.
That'd be interesting. It would have been interesting to see what that movie would have been like and where the franchise would have gone at that point if Amy Steele had agreed to do it. We may never have even gotten her. You know what I mean?
It's true. We
would have had a totally different franchise.
You are correct on that. I love how there's nobody, all the police have left. They just left the body there.
And there's a little pond.
Yeah, it's dried up now.
You see how you're looking at that? If you were standing there on one edge and you see that's literally the distance of part 6 filming location from one side to the other. It is so small.
I got you. And there it is. Friday the 13th, part 3.
Victor Miller and Ron.
I'm blasting this. Woo! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was Friday the 13th, part 3. Did you watch it with us? Did you enjoy it? The 1982 classic. This is one of my favorites. I'm a big fan of the first 4. A big fan of the first 4. And it was that. Yes, I know you can hear the music, but these shows are never monetized because YouTube doesn't like us. Well, they hate the word bullshit in the title of our videos.
You think? You think?
Oh, 100%. Because somebody one time said, well, is it the swearing that you guys do? And I said, no, because I drop F-bombs all the time in all the videos I used to post on my McRae live shows. You guys know me. I'm dropping F-bombs, a lot when I'm talking passionately about something or being theatrical or whatever. And all those videos and McRae lives are all monetized. But for some reason, 2 Dudes and Some Bullshit is never monetized. And it's out of my control. I've gone through review processes and we're sorry, it's been manually reviewed and it's determined not suitable for most advertisers. And it's like, why? Because it's got bullshit in the title? And I think that's why. I think because the title has bullshit. And I'm like, well, fuck that then. I don't give a shit. I don't do this for the monetization anyway. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm not out of principle. I'm not changing the name of our show to 2 Dudes and Some, BS. It's not. It's bullshit. And that's what it is. So you don't want to monetize it, then fine. Forget it.
We only average a couple thousand views.
Well,
so that's not exactly like super money.
Exactly. Exactly. People need to understand that in order to make
I'm kind of glad too we're under that radar because some of the shit we say sometimes, if we were on the higher end,
but I don't think it's that bad. But I think, yeah, I
mean, we would be attacked by so many people.
There are, yeah, we average about 2,500 to 3,000 views a show. If we do a Halloween show, we're averaging up around 4 or 5. So, sometimes 6.
Sense. It's Halloween.
But yeah, but you don't. I mean, I can tell you right now, you'd make maybe a couple of bucks off that. Like literally, it's not
that.
People don't. Yeah, if that. You need to be making. You need to have like millions.
A million views. You gotta be doing PewDiePie numbers to make.
Yeah, or Joe Rogan or something. Like if you want to have like, if you want to make substantial numbers. Well, I mean, you don't have to have that much to make. But I mean, if you want to have like a couple $1,000s from a video or something, you're in like 500,000 views easily, minimum. Yep. That just doesn't happen. So that's why I was like, well, whatever. It's not like we're making money off of it anyway. So I'm like, fuck you, YouTube. The name of the show is 2 Dudes and Some Bullshit, not 2 Dudes said, we don't think that's good for advertising. Okay, well, that's fine then. That's fine. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
If there's ever a commercial in front of your video, is it because someone's copyright?
No, my channel is monetized.
Oh, your channel is monetized.
My channel's monetized. So my McRae lives are all monetized. The videos I upload, like, the pre-recorded stuff, that's all monetized. And that's what I mean. Like it's not because we swear on the show, because I swear on those shows all the time and they get monetized no problem. But I think it's the name of the title is 2 Dudes and Some Bullshit. And I think because there's shit in the title, because it doesn't feel that it's and I get it.
Change it to 2 Dudes and Some Poopy.
No.
There you go.
No, it's 2 Dudes and Some Bullshit.
I'm kidding.
That's what it is.
I'm kidding.
That's what it is.
I'm kidding.
That's what it is. Yeah, totally. And that's, but
all right, you want to get those super chats that came in earlier?
Let's get the super chats, ladies and germs. Let's get the super chats. And a couple of them came in. Why am I not seeing? I have to refresh this here. 1 second. It's not showing. Fuck, why is YouTube not showing the super chats? Thank you, YouTube, you piece of crap. So I'm going to have to go to, just bear with me here because YouTube's not showing the super chats.
I'm looking forward to our April to May run. We're doing a 5-week special for you guys. We're going to do the entire Twilight Saga.
That's right. The entire Twilight Saga.
We're going from beginning to the end. All, was it 6 films, 5 films?
140 films that don't even exist. We're doing.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to make shit up as we go along with it too.
So here are the super chats. Sean Sheridan sends in a super chat. Thanks, buddy. 10 euros. Says, Friday series is B-movie at best, but hate me, Dave. I put the... Oh, wait a second here. I put the... where are we here? I put the... Where are we? Where did that go? Oh, here we go. I put the final chapter above Halloween 1978. Better gore and kills, worse characters than Myers and Loomis, Laurie, but Trish and Tommy are on par with Laurie. Well, that's okay, but it's not, I think, to compare Friday the 13th with the original Halloween, I don't think that's the appropriate comparison because Halloween was...
I mean, unless in his eyes, I mean...
Well, maybe, but I guess what it is that when you say it has better gore and kills, it's like, well, yeah. That's like saying it's got better gore and kills than Psycho. Or, yes, it does, but it's supposed to. It's a completely different style of movie. The original Halloween is a slasher, yes, because at that time, that's what slashers were. But the original Halloween is a very, it's Hitchcockian type of horror style, right? It's not like what we became to know what slashers were after the first Friday the 13th. So I think to compare the original Halloween and Friday 4 is, in my estimation, I think is silly, I think, at the end of the day. I think if you're going to compare it, okay, you would compare...
My thing is strobing. I don't know if people can see that.
Let me see here. Your thing is strobing. What's going on? Oh, yeah, it is a little bit. I think a better comparison would be like Friday 4 and like Halloween 4 or Friday 4 and even Halloween 2 even. But that's fair. That's fair. Let me see. Super chat from Mud Nelson, $2.99. Thanks, buddy. Blood Red Sky sends in a $5 super chat. Thank you. Says, radio station reporting the death says cannibalism and sexual mutilation is unclear. Jason was a creeper. He apparently was. Yeah, they did say that. Well, they want to give you this idea that, because they're also sort of playing into the fact of how is he surviving out there, right? They're building up this mystery. They're putting these questions out there to let you as an audience member ponder over a little bit. The Rusty Lion sends in a £2 super chat. Says, just showing some love. Thank you very much, Rusty Lion. Really appreciate that. 10 euros comes in from Sean Sheridan again and says, really don't get you putting First Friday at first, Dave. I would expect it might be a bit better than some of the series, but the pace is nonsense. Should have 10 to 15 minutes. Well, I think the reason why I like the first Friday the 13th the best is because as I've gotten older, I don't know how old you are, Sean, but I'm nearly 42. And as I've gotten older in my life, I've come to appreciate more nuanced horror. So the first Friday, although it has gore and it's a slasher movie, and it's certainly, there is a few moments there you could axe. For sure, you could speed up the runtime. I like the idea of this mystery of not knowing who the killer is, and I love the thunderstorm at night and the mood and the atmosphere, and I love that because it was such a low-budget film, a lot of the lighting, it's very dark and you can only sort of see where your flashlight is pointed, and I love that scene with the counselor is in bed and it's raining outside and you hear, help me, help me. It's like, what the fuck? Like, just thinking about that from a psychological aspect, imagine being there at the camp by yourself with a couple other people. You're in bed. You know there's no children there. You're in the middle of fucking nowhere. You're in bed. There's a rainstorm that is teeming down outside, and you think you hear a little child screaming in the darkness, in the rain, in the middle of fucking nowhere in the woods, help me. That is frightening. That's like, oh my God, that's creepy. That's scary, right? I love, as I've gotten older, I've appreciated that aspect about the original Friday the 13th more. However, I do understand that I'm in the minority because it doesn't have Jason, right? It's the first in the series, and they get better in the slasher gore kills category as the movies go on. So I understand that from a Friday the 13th series perspective, it's probably, some of people's least favorite. But I think there's a lot to love about that first movie, and that's why it's my favorite. But really, at the end of the day, the first four are my favorite. It's the first four to me that I really love the most. Power Packers 90 says Goldberg was WWE Universal Champion in 2020. Yes, because they wrote it that way. Blood Red Sky sends in a $2 super chat and says, all the girls in this film are brunette. I love it. Oh, Blood Red Skies must be a brunette guy himself. Sean,
he's right though. Yeah, there's no blondes in this one.
It's true. Well, they're
well, I mean, unless you count the flashback with Jeannie at the beginning.
Yeah, they're brunettes, but they're also they're like dark haired and like dirty brown, like dirty blonde almost. You know what I mean? Like like Chris, I wouldn't say is like Jennifer Love Hewitt brunette, but she's not like, Ginny blonde either. She's that like dirty browny blonde kind of thing. Sean Sheridan says in another €5, thank you, buddy, says Friday ranking final chapter, Freddy versus Jason remake. Okay. Oh, I see. So you're ranking Friday ranking final chapter, Freddy versus Jason remake, part 6, 2, 3, Jason X, part 7, 8, first Friday, Jason Goes to Hell, part 5. All right. Well, there's the ranking, folks. Do you agree with Sean? Do you agree with him? Frank Riker, Frank the man, sends in a $5 super chat, says, for the sexy prequel hating MFers in the chat.
Prequel hating.
Frank follows up with another $5 super chat, says, Dave, could you name a movie series besides Star Wars? Oh, wait, sorry. I'm going off into the other. Frank didn't send in that chat. That was from the other day. For a minute, I was like, I don't remember seeing that. Sorry, that was from McRae Live the other day. So I think that's all the super chats so far. As I.
Sweet Tea sent us a $10 one for the channel.
She
my
did
friends.
right now. Thank you so much, Sweet Tea. I really appreciate that. You're such a great supporter, and and what's so cool is that you do that and you don't ask a question. You just do it because you want to support the channel, and that's very sweet of you to do it. The tea is sweet tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. The tea is sweet tonight. All right, let's take a few questions here while people are still here, and then what's going on?
General Shepard, Tony, have you seen WandaVision? No, because I don't own Disney Plus.
There you go. Well, that was easy to answer.
Yeah.
Melissa Todd says, you got a point, Dave, but I just don't like Jason not in it. I think that's why a lot of people don't like it, is because Jason's not in it. So they're bored. They're bored. They're uninterested. They don't want to watch it because it has nothing to do with Jason. I understand that, but I think it's got a lot of good shit in there. I mean, minus Kevin Bacon's weird sawed off boner, it's still good, and I'm dead serious.
Good old KB's boner.
I wonder if Kevin Bacon's boner will make his way into the chat room tonight. If he does, that means he's watching, or or it's another account that somebody has, obviously. What do we got? General Shepard says, Dave and Tony, what are your thoughts on WB making a Superman movie without Henry Cavill? Well, here are my thoughts. As you guys know, I'm not a big into the superhero universe. I didn't know that there was such thing as a black Superman in the mythology, like there is such a thing as a black Spider-Man. That's cool. I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool. But I didn't know that. And apparently all the information that's coming down the pipe is that's sort of what they're thinking about doing. Now, it's not 100% yet, but that's sort of the buzz that we're hearing. J.J. Abrams is producing. I don't know if they have a director yet. And okay, I think the thing that bothers me is I think it's just the convoluted nature of everything. It's just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And like you guys should know now that I've said on many occasions, I'm a very linear storyteller. I don't like so many things thrown at me. And then there's this and this and this and this and connect this and do this and that. I don't know. I don't know if it's how I learn. I don't know if it's how I process information. I just don't like all sorts of, it's why I don't believe in having to read a book or a comic in order to understand what's going on in a movie. Fuck that noise. I think that's bullshit. And so now it's like, so now they're doing another Superman movie. So is it connected to the DCU? Well, it's connected to the DCU, but it's going to be a black Superman because there was a black Superman in a comic from 2009. And it's going to be about this, but it's an alternate reality Earth. So now you have this Earth and there's, cross dimensions. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, I don't even know what's going on. I'm still caught up in fucking 1978 Superman. I'm just like, holy shit. Like, it just seems very messy to me. Having said that, I think, and I don't want to speak necessarily for hardcore Superman fans here, but I will. I think part of the reason why there may be some that are feeling really sort of upset about this is not necessarily because they would like to make a movie with something that already exists. It's not like they're making this up. There is a black Superman in an alternate universe in the comics. Okay, all right, cool. I have a feeling they want to do that. I think most people are upset about that, not because a black Superman, okay, whatever. I think it's because for those people who love Henry Cavill, he never got, now that doesn't mean they can't make them at the same time. That's what I'm hearing. No, they can do this one and they can do that one. I'm just like, stop. But anyway, I think it's because Henry Cavill never got his due. I mean, you did Man of Steel, and then he was in Batman v Superman, which is Justice League. I mean, he never had a proper arc on his own. It's standalone movies. We had like Man of Steel 2 or 3. To see him as the quintessential Superman that we've known to love, to see this arc play out without any noise, without all the other superheroes, with all of the other, the other baggage that comes with all this connectivity and connective tissue. Fuck that. Get that out of there and just concentrate on these standalone movies. He never got that. And I think that's why people are upset about it. I think that's why people are like, so wait a second, you're going to do a Superman with a okay, but what about Henry Cavill? From what I'm hearing, and I've talked to a couple people that are more into it than I am, they've said, yeah, that's exactly why I'm pissed off. If you want to do this, I forget the guy's name now, the alternate reality Superman. Go ahead, like how they did Miles Morales, I think his name is, in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was animated, mind you, but nonetheless, that apparently it won Best Animated Feature at the Academy Awards, got rave reviews. Apparently, it's really, really good. Okay, but that's also because people had Tom Holland and they had an arc that was happening and you don't get that with Henry Cavill. And I think that's why people are kind of like, well, wait a minute, you got to finish what you fucking started. It feels messy. It feels unfinished. It feels strange. That's how I feel about it. Tony?
I have about as much interest to watch that film like I do Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Michael, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Kevin Bacon's boner. You see, Kevin Bacon's boner. There he is. So clearly Kevin Bacon's boner is somebody else with another account who watches us.
Frank the Tank.
And then it might be Frank the Tank. Maybe it is.
It's Frank the Tank.
Look at that sawed-off boner. That avatar and Kevin Bacon, that avatar is actually, it's not Photoshopped. That is a real picture and almost framed exactly like that from the first Friday the 13th movie. Go watch it if you don't believe me. Sean Sheridan sends in a 10 euros again. Thanks, buddy. Says, I accept Halloween is better than the final chapter. Just my choice, but I think Halloween 4 is better than 78, but just as good characters, better tension, gore, just as good characters and story. And that's fair. I think it, but again, I think it's important to understand that the original Halloween is difficult to compare to because of this. Remember, the original Halloween was supposed to be a one-off movie. That was it.
Sean, you're not going to win this battle.
That
buddy.
was it. No. He's free to think that. I just think that it's a bit misguided to want to compare the two because it's like one's movie is like Psycho. It's a Hitchcock film. It's a theater of the mind, old school kind of movie. And then the others are more modern slasher films. It's like, well, I like this better because it's got more gore. Yeah, I can understand that. but it's not like Halloween failed at gore. See, that's what you have to remember. The original Halloween didn't not have enough gore. Its intention was to never have gore. And I know this because I've spoken to Erwin Yablans personally, and he told me that. He said that was the idea. I wanted to do a theater of the mind, Hitchcockian movie, no gore, suspense, low budget. That was the intent. That was the purpose. So it's not like Halloween failed at it where Friday the 13th Part 4 exceeded at it. That's why I think it's kind of strange to compare the two. But if you like that style better, if you like Friday 4 better because of its style better, well, that's fair. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Robert Thidoff sends in a $4.99 super chat and says, Dave and Tony, what is the most obscure, well, I love these kind of questions. What is the most obscure movie sequel you have ever seen that is not well known? Mine is Splash 2 for TV, and it was god awful. Splash 2, for TV.
Splash 2, yeah.
And it was god awful.
One word.
Tony,
no
what about you?
there.
I don't know.
A sequel that was just god awful. That's not really well known. I mean, most people would know it.
Kevin Bacon sawed off boner.
You guys rock. A sequel that.
Yeah, a sequel that nobody knows about. Or that's unknown, that's god awful.
I don't know, man. Because most people know sequels.
Do we have to say?
Hard.
So I'm assuming we mean like a direct sequel, not a sequel to a sequel, not like a part 4 or 5, like a direct sequel to the original. That's god awful.
The Godfather 2. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. It's a really good question, Robert.
It's a good question, but I don't really know.
Off the top of my head, yeah.
Like I mean, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is god awful, but that wasn't really made for TV.
I think he means. I don't think it has to be made for TV. I think.
I thought it was like made for TV, like sequels.
No, I think he meant the Splash was made. In general, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is a good one. Yeah, that is a good one.
Oh, I thought you meant like good one as like, I'm like, what did Dave just like?
No.
Did you just like break yourself there?
No.
Wait, what did you just say?
I meant like, that's a good example. Yeah. The Lion King 2.
The Crow 2.
Simba's Pride.
That. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I just looked up at my Crow. We need to do the Crow one night.
We need to do the Crow one night.
We do. Can't rain all the time.
No, it's true. It's very true. Let me see. Let's.
The Exorcist 2, Nate. That's a good one. Yeah. That was
The Heretic. Yeah, that's a good one.
Especially following. Like, they never should be. Like why? Like why? Like
I don't know.
You're never gonna. There's no reason to go to the drawing board again with this movie.
There isn't. There really isn't. It's a total total disaster.
Yeah, like I don't know what they were thinking, but like you're just like no. It's to me 2 and 3. Even though 3, if you drop the Exorcist title, what's the subtitle to the Exorcist?
The The Exorcist 3. The chintzy pantyhose or something. I don't know.
I don't know, but there is a subtitle.
I forget now. Why am I blanking on this?
But The Exorcist 3 is actually a good movie.
It's a very good movie. George C. Scott.
If you don't attach it to the franchise and as its standalone, like it's a fantastic fucking film. I have no issues with 3 because it goes off on its own and does its own thing. Yeah. And it's got some really cool effects.
I think it's called The Exorcist 3 Chintzy Pantyhose.
Chintzy pantyhose.
Chintzy pantyhose, yeah. Because George C. Scott was wearing a pair of chintzy pantyhose under his jeans in the movie.
That he was just testing out some ideas for his Scrooge character.
That's correct.
Although I think Scrooge might have came out before
Yes, it did, I believe. Was it George C. Scott? I think it was, yeah. I love George C. Scott. He was so great.
Oh, yeah. He was a great actor.
Nick sends in a $10 super chat. Thanks, buddy. He says, Dave, like you, I worked at a video store. Very cool. Did you ever have a movie?
We all did.
Yeah. Did you ever have a movie stored in your head that you would give out to people just looking for a great movie? I replied back with Dead Again and A Simple Plan. That's so funny, Nick. Yes, 100%.
I trolled my people on that one. I'll tell you in a minute.
Dead Again is a really good movie. That's with Kenneth Branagh. I think he directed that as well. It is a really good movie. Came out in the early 90s. I like that movie a lot, actually. That one I didn't recommend. My go-tos were The Game from David Fincher, Michael Douglas, 1997, The Game. If somebody was looking for like a good, like, you know, thriller or psychological thriller, it would be that one. And A Perfect Murder, I would recommend too. Michael Douglas, Gwyneth Paltrow, yep. Seven. I'd recommend Seven. Those were sort of my three that I would kind of say, well,
did you work in like a mom and pop, or did you work in a chain?
No, I worked in a chain. There was we had a bunch. The Canadian Blockbuster was a store called Rogers Video, and no, we also had Blockbusters up here too. We had a ton of them. They were all over the place. Yeah. But we also had the Canadian one, which was Rogers Video, and I worked at Rogers Video. And that was what I had those three in my head that I would circulate. I remember one time a guy came in looking for a creepy, eerie kind of movie, and I recommended he rent Session 9. And now it was the wrong movie to recommend because Session 9 is an acquired taste. It's a slow burn, very slow, not a lot of action. It's really deeply cerebral, psychological. But I recommended it to him. It's great. It's a good movie. I thought so. And he comes back in like after the weekend's done, and he's like, "This was the biggest pile of shit I've ever watched in my life." And I'm like, "Dude," I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, I didn't like it at all. My wife and I thought it was a snooze fest and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Well, let me make it. Have you seen," and then I went to my defaults. I'm like, "Have you seen Seven?" And he had. I was like, "Well, have you seen The Game?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, you gotta watch The Game. It's directed by David Fincher, directed by the same guy that did Seven. It's Michael Douglas, psychological. He's like, "Oh, this better be good." And he came back in like, you know, a day or two later, he's like, "It was amazing." So I made up for it.
When I worked at Video Galaxy before my very brief I worked at Blockbuster for about 2 months and I hated it. It was so mainstream. Like this, Video Galaxy was like a small little chain in Connecticut. And we had one in our town. Not big. It's maybe 30. I don't even, and I'm being generous with that number. It may have been even a lot less than that.
Yeah.
But it was in the greater Hartford area because that was the county that I lived in.
Sure.
And I did that from sophomore year. I'm sorry, 8th grade through sophomore year.
Right.
And then I did a brief stint after Blockbuster came in and, you know, pretty much ran all the mom and pop shops out of town. And I hated it. I hated it. Was just didn't have the same vibe as the mom and pop shop. Video Galaxy, but when people would come into Video Galaxy, because Video Galaxy would have everything. Like Blockbuster did not have the behind the curtain area. Video Galaxy did have the behind the curtain area. That's the XXX area.
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
but
we had that in Rogers
They
Video
didn't have
too.
that in our. They didn't. Yeah, Blockbuster. No, Blockbuster was all like, yeah,
make it a Blockbuster,
whatever. But I would tell people Faces of Death. Do you remember Faces of Death?
Faces of Death.
You didn't have that? Oh my God, dude. Anybody in the chat room, that's a deep cut for people. Anyone in the chat room knows that.
The movie?
It was not a movie. It was like Faces of Death 6, Faces of Death. Like it was just a collage of just really
I brought it up here. Faces of Death is the first one was 78. Oh, it's Mondo horror film. Yeah. That would be the one that I would tell people. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about now. Yep. Haven't thought. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, it spawned a series. Like there's like 4 or 5, whatever it is. Yeah.
So to troll people, they'd be like, "Do any good movies to recommend?" Yep, Faces of Death.
It's fucking hilarious. That's great. Sean Sheridan sends in a €2 and says, "Thoughts on New Wrong Turn?" Haven't seen it.
Either. I only watched the first one.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Wrong Turn movies except the first one, and that movie I haven't seen in like 20 years. So, Blood Red Skies $2 says Session 9 is like haunted house bum fights. Okay, haunted house bum fights. Apparently, we'll take this thing another 5 minutes. We'll take this thing to 9:30, and then we'll call it a night. I have a bit of a headache. It's not you guys though. It's not you guys. I've had a headache all day. I think it's because yesterday was quite mild here, and then today the temperature dropped again. And I think I tend to suffer when the barometric pressure changes. My mom was like that too, actually. So I've had a bit of a headache all day. Kevin Bacon sawed off boner says, Dave, I wonder if Kevin Bacon's Canadian then, because he says, Dave, don't forget Jumbo Video. Yeah, Jumbo Video was another Canadian chain. Not quite as big as Rogers, but it was big. It had the elephant as their logo. And the one thing I loved about Jumbo was when you'd go in, they had a big popcorn machine that you could get free popcorn. You just had a little bag, and you would scoop a little bag, like a little kind of, bag. And you'd scoop popcorn in this little bag, and you'd walk around. It was genius marketing. You'd walk around the video store eating popcorn while looking for a movie to rent, and that inevitably got you hungry for popcorn when you got to the cash to buy snacks and shit for when you rented the movie. It was brilliant. I remember that. Jumbo Video, yeah, they're defunct now too. Well, they're all defunct. They're all gone.
Yeah, I miss the video stores.
Me too, man.
Jeff Harris, to answer your question, yes, I do own the John Carpenter Joker comic book. Pretty good. It was all right. I like some of the artistry. I like his take on it. I'm very curious to see them do, because they just announced they're continuing the Batman 89 story through the comics. The Michael Keaton Batman, I think comes out to, I don't know if it's a 3 or 5 part series they're doing with it. But we'll get to see Billy D. Williams' Two-Face properly done, not Tommy Lee Jones. So I'm curious to see how they do that with that later on this year.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, the Carpenter spin on it was all right.
I've never read it. Colin McCormick says, allergies, Dave. I get that too. Here in Ohio, we can have all 4 seasons in 1 week, and that messes with me. Yeah, it's not allergies. Funny enough, I don't suffer from allergies. For me, it really is just it doesn't, like, the springtime comes, I don't have allergies. I rarely, and I honest to God mean this, I rarely get sick. I can go 6-7 years without a cold. And I'm not kidding. Now, that could also be primarily because I also don't work a 9-to-5 job where I'm in an office, where I'm, associating with tons of people and picking up things, and you know what I mean? I mean, I work primarily from my home studio. So I do a lot of my work in isolation. So that could also be it as well. But I've never suffered from allergies. I've never, like, even when I was in school and things like that, I never had seasonal allergies. I never got sick. I mean, you'd get sick, but I rarely got sick. I had almost, like, if I missed a class, it was because I intentionally didn't want to go to the class. So I just, I skipped.
I bet you nowadays people got perfect attendance. Nobody's calling out sick these days.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's true. But
I bet you calling out sick, man, that would take on a whole new level. They'll probably make you get tested like 500 times before you come back to work.
It's true. But my mom did suffer from migraines. And I know that when the temperature changes, like if a storm's coming in, I tend to get a headache. But when the storm goes, it's gone. And you know what I mean? And today's been kind of like one of those days. But like allergies in terms of like pollen or the changes of like, ragweed or the changes in the air, and that never affects me. Never has. Yeah. It doesn't mean it never will, but I've been very fortunate that way, because there are people I know that get allergies, and oh my God, I can't even imagine. I would dread approaching a certain time of year, having to stock up on, allergy medication and Kleenex boxes. It would just be crazy. Let me see here. I'll take this thing. Okay, a couple more minutes. Aaron Click says, just kidding, Dave, kind of. Oh, what's going on? Oh, Dave, you've had about a year and a half, give or take, to watch Dr. Sleep. I know you're a busy guy, but come on, man. Well, it's just not a priority for me right now. I'll watch it. But it's just not.
I haven't watched it yet either.
Yeah, it's just not a. It's not a priority to watch it.
Dave, how dare you not watch it right now? What's wrong with you, man?
I gotta be honest with you guys. Like I don't watch. Like I'm very not that like I'm sure I'm going to enjoy Dr. Sleep. By all accounts, everything I've heard is great. I just haven't gotten around to it. But it's not. I don't.
You watch movies that you're interested in watching. I'm the same way. I don't watch like every TV show and movies out
like
there.
Somebody asked me my thoughts on WandaVision about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, sorry, Wanda what? I was like, what's I had no idea what the fuck WandaVision was. And I still really don't know what it is. I heard other people talking, and it's something to do with Marvel or something, and it's on Disney Plus or something.
They're part of their it's on Disney, which I don't even have, so that takes care of that for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just an extension. Is
it about a woman named Wanda or something? What
the Avengers, it's two of the guys, Vision, who was an Avenger, and Wanda, who was another Avenger. They come in on the second Avenger.
WandaVision. So the guy's name is Vision.
I thought that the guy's name is Vision. Wanda is.
See, I would have guessed that it was WandaVision, like it's her vision, like it's Wanda's.
Well,
vision.
technically, it is her vision. It's her dude.
Yes, but I don't know anything about it. I have no idea. But yeah, I will. I'll watch it eventually.
Yeah, same here. I'll get to when it's for free. I'll probably watch it if it shows up on like Hulu or Netflix. You know what I mean? Then that's when I'll probably throw it on. I'm not gonna, to be honest, I'm not gonna spend money to rent Dr. Sleep or buy it. It's just not a priority for. I'm. If you knew what my days were like, and I should do that actually. I should carry it around with me all day. It's just not a priority. It doesn't mean I don't want to see it. It's just not a priority. I still haven't seen. What are the movies that you guys have probably seen 45 times that I haven't seen yet? Let me just. I'll tell you right now. Here. Let's do a little experiment here. We'll see if Tony has seen these two. Okay. Let's do movies 2019. Let's move to 2019. Okay. Here we go. All right. Let's see here. Glass. I haven't seen Glass. That's the
M. Night Shyamalan. Haven't seen Glass.
Yep.
Let's see here. I'm just looking for ones that are popular that I think people would.
Do you know what I just finally watched for the very first time?
What's that?
Ever? Like the series ever? Because I wasn't really into it as a kid, even though it was popular during our youth. I just finally watched The Wonder Years.
Oh yeah, The Wonder Years are great.
Oh my God, that's such a good show. And I will go on the record. I'm going to go on the record and saying Winnie Cooper is the worst girlfriend in TV history.
Yeah, she is.
The worst.
She is.
She first of all, she leads him on for like the first two seasons. Then when she gets with him, she leaves him for another dude. Okay. And I'm like, what the hell? All right, whatever. It's true. And then during their high school years, when they're finally together, she everything Kevin does, she fucking picks on him for, which drove me nuts. And then finally, at the end of the fucking show, she cheats on him again with another dude. I'm like, what in the fuck? She is the worst girlfriend ever in television history.
Danica, no, what is it? Her name is
such a great coming of age
Danica Patrick
television show.
Or it's fantastic.
I never got into it as a kid.
What would you do if I sang out of tune?
Wayne is my hero. Wayne was funny as shit. The chemistry between Fred Savage and what's his name? Jason something or other.
Okay,
they're good.
All right, so here I'm gonna list some movies that the majority of you have probably seen that maybe Tony and I have, or I don't know about Tony, but here's a few that are popular that I have not seen yet. 1917, haven't seen it yet. Ford v Ferrari, haven't seen it yet.
I have seen that. That was pretty good.
Cool. I hear it's great. Jojo Rabbit, haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that. I've never even heard of it until you just said it.
It was popular. Let me see here. Let me scroll along here. I want to, let's see here. This is 2019. Let's go back. You know what? Let's do 2018. Let's go back 3 years.
Shit, you could even do 2020 because some movies came out last year and I still didn't see them.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But I'm just thinking of, because last year was a bit of a write-off, right?
True.
The Nun, of course. I never saw The Nun. Didn't give a fuck about it. Looked like garbage, and I was right. Rampage with Dwayne Johnson. Haven't seen it.
Never saw that.
Let's see here. Still haven't seen Upgrade. I have not seen Upgrade yet.
What's that about?
That's directed by what's his face that also directed The Invisible Man. It's a horror movie from.
I still haven't even seen The Invisible Man. Now I know that that's good. I have purchased The Invisible Man.
Yeah, it's good.
Just haven't.
It's good.
I haven't gotten to it.
I enjoyed it. I thought The Invisible Man was very good.
Yeah. When you say something's good, our tastes tend to be pretty even, so that's why I went ahead and bought the movie.
That's right.
Because if you're liking it, there's a very good chance that I'm going to like it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, those are just a few that I'm just trying to think of.
Have you seen Let Him Go? The Kevin Costner, Diane Lane movie?
No.
Highly recommend you and your girl watch that.
Okay.
She would like that.
Okay.
She would like that movie. That's for what we got for last year for new releases. That was probably my favorite film from last year. Such a really good movie.
Okay. So yeah, those are just a few that I still have not seen. I'm looking at 2020. Of course, most of these just went straight to streaming. I did watch The Hunt. I like The Hunt a lot.
Have you seen Halloween Kills yet, Dave?
Halloween Kills. I did see Halloween Kills. Blum shipped me a copy of Halloween Kills, and I watched it, and I was sitting there with Blum, and we were hanging out.
Yeah. Although we joke around, no, but seriously, I mean, I don't know what their plan is going to be, and I don't know if our theaters are going to be open. I'm not going to buy Paramount or Universal whatever app in order to watch the film. So it may be a minute before that I'm able to finally see it and buy it off of YouTube. The same thing with Kong versus Godzilla. I'm sitting here going like, okay, what do I do here? Because do I spend $10 just to watch and be in a membership thing? I mean, yes, I can cancel it, but I don't know if HBO is going to get me on the cancellation thing, because I don't want to be subscribing to fucking 10 different things here, because I don't think our theaters are going to be open by the end of March. Do you think you guys are going to be up and running by the end of March?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So
no, for sure.
I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to fucking see Kong, Godzilla and Kong. I want to see it.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like I'm going to be stuck in a fucking commitment with HBO Max for like a year, you know, or whatever. So I don't pay a cancellation fee.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, wait, dude, you got some super chats.
Oh, do I?
In.
Oh, did I get some super chats? Let me see here.
3.
Oh, there were a couple of super chats that came in. Thanks, buddy.
4.
Thanks for doing that.
Super chats.
Let's check it out. Let's see if we can do it here. Sean Sheridan sends another one. Thanks, buddy. Says, suggest New Wrong Turn, not garbage like rest of the series. Good story, intention, fave, Batman and Spider-Man films.
I think that's like I think that's a suggestion and a question.
Yeah, I think it's a suggestion and a question. Okay, well, I've only seen the first Wrong Turn. I didn't think it was all that great, so I didn't bother watching. I didn't even know there was a Wrong Turn series, to be honest with you. I'll be totally honest with you. I didn't know there was. I think I knew there was a second one. I didn't know there was like 7 of them.
I only know there's a first one, and there's a really hot redhead in there.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Well, she was also okay. And then favorite Batman and Spider-Man movies. I think my favorite Batman movie is a cross between the original Batman from '89 and Batman Begins. And then my favorite.
Those are my 2 favorites.
My favorite Spider-Man movie. I don't know. I've only seen
Spider-Man.
3 I've seen all of.
I mean, I've seen them, but I don't really.
Yeah, care. I've seen all of Raimi's, and then I saw Spider-Man, the first one, Homecoming or whatever it was called. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I like them all the same, I guess. There isn't really one that stands out to me, I guess. I'll say Z because you're probably American. ZGoRZ Skate 45 sends in $4.99. Super chat says, been a while since I've asked, but one last Indiegogo opportunity on me, Billy. Perhaps, not sure yet. We are in the process of cutting the trailer. And the trailer is, I've seen it, and I mean, this is coming from me, of course, you know, so, you know, you take it with a grain of salt, but if the teaser made you excited, I mean, I got excited watching it. So this is going to be one of those things where it's just like, okay, I need this now. So it's crunch time for us if we want to make our release date. And you're probably wondering, what is that? We don't even know what the release date is. No, and you're not going to know yet until the trailer's out. The trailer is when you'll see the release date, but we have a release date in mind that we want to aim for. But myself and Bruce have a meeting. We have several meetings over the next couple of weeks to talk to our DP and because the film is about to move into the color timing, color grading, and color correction process. So, and that's a very good thing because that means the film is pieced together. We have to watch it again and make sure there's any adjustments we want to make. The sound design is nearly done. I'm doing all of the sound design. And I've been working like a motherfucker to get this thing done. It's a large part of what I do when I'm not here doing this. And I think it's sounding good. We just need to mix it. And the trailer is being cut simultaneously. Bruce is working simultaneously on the BTS, which will end up on the Blu-rays for you guys. And it will eventually end up online as well, but he's cutting that. The BTS itself may be as long, if not longer, than the movie, because there's a lot of footage that was shot, a lot of juicy things, you know, we want to show you guys. And so there's just a lot of wheels that are turning right now. And we have talked about potentially running a small Indiegogo campaign for those who want to get one last stuff in there. So that is one of the things that I'll be talking to Bruce about this week.
Good shit. And then Southpaw 82, $2 super chat. Thin Red Line is the best war film ever made 100%. I would say my two favorite war films are Saving Private Ryan and Mel Gibson's The Patriot. Those are my two favorite war films.
I think Platoon is really good too.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
too.
but the Thin Red Line is very good. I haven't seen the
Thin Red Line is
in a
really,
long
really
time.
good. Yeah. Thin Red Line's really good. But I like Saving Private Ryan a lot. And The Patriot is just a really good movie.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I haven't seen. Yeah, The Patriot. Yeah, I remember the Patriot was 2000, I think, somewhere around there.
I mean, I don't know if you, I mean, it is a war film. It's a revolutionary war film.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Yep. No, you're right. I think we're caught up.
I think so.
We are caught up, folks. That's going to do it for Tony and I on episode 102 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Thank you to our amazing moderators, Frank Riker, Tap of the Short, Darren Sands, and Chris Baber for doing what you guys do. Really appreciate you guys keeping the chat room flowing in the proper direction and not backwards. Tony and I will be back next Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for episode 103. And next Monday night is a special Two Dudes and Some Bullshit because we are starting... we are honoring and fulfilling perk number 1 for Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. And who will be joining us? Frank Riker. The great moderator, Frank the Tank Riker, will be joining us on the show next Monday night because he was very generous and donated to the Two Dudes perk. So we're starting that process next Monday night. So that'll be exciting, and you'll find out, of course, throughout the course of the next week or so what we'll be watching. It's Frank's choice. That's the idea, anyway. And Tony, any last things you want to say?
Yeah, folks, always remember to check your underwear. Make sure it's not inside out.
Exactly. Always make sure to check your underwear and make sure you don't see these. I was going to go in a totally different direction there. I don't think I'm going to do that. Have a great rest of your night, guys. Alrighty, that'll do it for us. Cheers.